In a land forgotten by time, a few lost souls, broke and cold, stumbled into a field and said, "Yeah, this'll do." Armed with nothing but their grit, bad ideas, and about 10 loaves of bread they absolutely stole. They began to build not just a village, but a city, a finely tuned machine of war and wealth. Built on historical burgage plot designs and a dangerously efficient logistics system connected to the mechanics. And this design, we're going to make so much food that we're going to just be throwing it on the ground. If we can't trade it, it's on the ground. This is not just a city, it is a monument to excess. And I'm going to show you how to build one of the most food efficient cities you have ever seen. Welcome to the historical efficient city number 2. We're going to optimize our food production. We're going to produce every kind of food there is outside of sausage. We can potentially import salt from a region like here and berries if we need to. But what we have over here is fish and a rich deposit of stone, which is one of the worst things to have. So right here, I have the basis of what I'm trying to achieve. First and foremost, we need to move our wild animals and pause the game. I'm using the shrine tool because if you place it down like so, it will move the object. Alright, I'm happy with where it is, mainly because it took me quite a bit to get it to move there. Now we're going to delete these one by one. I'm not going to show you that, though. So our starting location is here. If you want to get your desirability up real quick, you typically want to build around the area that you're going to be building in. What we're going to do is a little different. We're going to start doing the entire layout of what this base is going to be. Now, I know I can't build here, so I have an idea for a bottom area over here. So what I want to do is find my center. And my center, I believe, is going to be somewhere right around here. Now, one thing I can actually place is the hitching post. So I also know that I'm going to need at least 6 corpse pits on this side and this side over here. You can see we actually have a lot more room than we think. Very, very big area. So what I'm going to end up doing right now is just formulating this. So perfect. Now what we're going to have are 3x3s for veggies and 3x4s for apples. This is going to give us that awesome little feel of a bunch of burgage plots being packed together, but give it us really efficient values. About 45 veggies or apples per corpse pit. This will be substantially more than we need, and it actually goes up much higher when you have 4 families. You do need to be aware that it says it's too steep to build in some of these areas, so just be mindful of that. We might have to amend some of this design. Now, in between, we're going to have a middle area, and this is going to be for anything that we want, primarily farming and agriculture, as we're going to have farmlands all the way behind all of this. So we want to do the same thing over here. Now, the reason I'm overproducing apples relative to veggies, simply because I like to sell apples. So, they're a good one to sell. You could do the same with veggies, but I'm also going for kind of a neat little design here with what I'm doing. So, alright. So, we got our veggies up to 3, our apples up to 4. Now that we have all this, we're going to create a massive road across the whole area here. Create a road going down side here. I'm gonna create a road from the back sides like so. We can connect these later. It'll help us later when sectioning off areas. Very good. Alright, perfect. Now we're gonna get rid of all these corpse pits. Now behind all of these veggies and apple fields are going to be wheat fields. And so it's important, if you're doing a design like this, that you have rich deposits. You know you have fertility rich deposits if you only have one rich deposit. That's how it is. If you have one rich deposit, then you have the best fertility in the game. See, we have the best fertility in the game. And all along up here, We're going to have tons and tons of fields, probably going down the sides, maybe even over here if necessary. I don't think it will be. And in the middle right here are going to be our windmills and all the great things that we have. And I'm going to do this real quick just to know what center is. So this is center here. This is our center here. We're just going to go a tad bit off. And what we're going to do here is we're going to use a hitching post. There, we're just using that to line up with everything. Makes it easy. And this hitching post should be about one hitching post down. So this is actually just a tad bit too big. That's okay. We're just going to eyeball it this time. Go. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a circle around the hitching post. See how easy it is? The initial one. And then we're going to trace one more circle around the hitching post, and this will allow us to have exactly one granary. And this will help us with efficiency. Remember that food is consumed from the granary before the market stalls. As long as you have the food item in your granary, you don't have to worry about restocking market stalls. So market stall distance really isn't important anymore with the new mechanical changes. It's granary location and logistics of travel. The closer your granary is to what it's trying to do, the more efficient it's going to be. It's that simple. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is we have our little circle. Let's just make sure before you move on, make sure it fits. You can see that it does not. So my bad. We're going to need to do one more circle. And this is actually kind of cool. It actually works out better. So we're going to use a little bit of the weirdness going on up here. Right into the road. Look at that. Perfect. So it's a little different. It's a little wonky. I love it. And now we can fit the granary perfectly right here. And we have a nice little roundabout around it. This will allow us to build things off of it. So the same deal over here. We're going to do 3 circles around all of this. So very, very easy. First circle looks like jank. And the best way to do this is just do click, click, click like that and just go all the way around. And then the next circle is just going to come right off this area. And none of this needs to be absolutely perfect, but you might find it's useful. Makes things align a little bit better. I'm going to do this again. Okay. Another way you could do this, now that I'm thinking about it, is to just line it up like so. Once you complete one circle, find your bottom, like so. And then you can just simply trace a circle by memory. Doesn't look as good. Doesn't look as good. But you know what? We're going to keep it. We're going to keep it with us. The reminder that we're not perfect. I don't know. It looks good enough to me. So that is where the 2 granaries are going to go relative to everything going on up here. Now what's kind of cool is we're going to be able to, you know, have these do a pretty good job. Let's just make sure, like I said, it's big enough, everything to fit. It looks like we just need a little bit of a modification over here. Okay, this one's looking a little sharper. It's going to be angled a little bit differently, but that's all right. It's good. It's good to go. Now we have both of those situated perfectly. Now the main thing we're going to have is we're going to have eggs on the left and we're going to have meat on the right. We are actually going to be doing both. But so I'm going to have a granary that specializes in egg collection here and a granary that specializes in meat collection over here. Now you could actually go the distance and say that this guy right here is good enough, that we have the 2 here. However, I don't believe that's true. I think we want to go a different direction with this. Now, I want to have the church, taverns, and all that kind of lined up here. So what I want to do is have this beautiful circle. So we're going to create the most magnificent circle that anyone has ever seen, where the market stalls and the heart of the town is going to be centered on. And you can actually just go out a little bit, right, and eyeball circles. Like, you don't have to follow each road by road realistically. You're mainly just trying to follow the bend, right, and get something that is as good as possible. So this is actually looking relatively close to what I want. And if we look, the market stalls in this area is beyond insanity. Much greater than what we need. So we're going to have a connector here. We're going to have a connection here. And off of this craziness, we're going to have multiple pathways. So, just an FYI, Corpse Pit is also the perfect measurement for an extension with the backyard plot. So we want everything here to line up, right? So realistically, we know that all the way up to here is where we're going with this. So we're going to line these bad boys up. And this is going to be a road. Now you can see it's going off of this circle. So what we're actually going to do is have a circle off of a circle here. It's going to be pretty cool. And I'll show you how that's going to work. I had this idea last night. I thought it sounded really, really cool. So the same thing here. As long as we make sure the tendrils, or whatever you want to call these things, are lined up thusly, we should be able to get everything going. Right here at the bottom. Now these circles here that are connected, and will be connected by this road, they're going to be connected together, and they're going to be 2 granaries. And we're going to have houses all in between this area, here, and also on the bottom. Now I'm going to place another road down here, but this road is just to keep everything together. I have a feeling that we're not going to be able to build every house here, simply because of some of the things that I'm seeing. Oh. This is just a reminder road. Okay, so we have everything we need here. Going to be an enormous amount of houses. This is going to be a high population. This back road will be deleted. It will just be houses on this side, houses on that side. And the cool thing is we can use this circle to get our next circle. We don't have to overthink this. We're going to delete this road just temporarily. I'll get it back up here in a second. There we go, another granary. So these 2 granaries are going to be connected by the roads here. Be able to go out any direction. They're going to be specialized to the things that are around them. It's going to increase their efficiency pretty substantially. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this. So we got our 2 granary areas. Things are looking up. We're going to leave everything just the way that it is right now. We do want to make sure that these roads are connected. All right, this is looking beautiful. Got a lot of good synergy here. And we're going to have another granary between the meat and fish. We'll have a granary down here for later things that we need. Going to remove the corpse pits now. We're mapping out that city, boy. This is going to be good. Okay. Similar setup over here. Got a little bit of a slant, and that's okay. And this circle isn't as big as the other circle. That's okay, too. We can actually kind of eyeball a lot of this now. So we're going to do so. Best way to test if it's working appropriately is just to do a trial. All these have backyard extensions. Perfect. Okay. I'm actually going to end up just redoing these circles. You can also use certain tools to, hold control and smooth things out. Does sometimes help. A lot of these roads are going to be replaced once I get the burgage plots in to kind of conform more with the territory. To be honest, I can always redo these later if I just hate the way they look. Alright, granary fits, granary fits. That's all that matters. Alright. We've got it on lockdown now. So you can see we have our design. It's pretty darn decent. This is going to house an insane amount of people. And it's going to continue to kind of veer off and around. We're going to have, I think, little V's motions going on here. I'm going to have the houses coming in at kind of an angle. Yeah, that looks good to me. So a little bit off because all this is over here. That's okay. Now remember, your roads can kind of go around like so. We're going to circle around the fishing pond now. Perfect. Okay. The main road that we need to focus on is over here. Now this is a great place for industry, as you can see, and trade. So this whole sector down here is going to be our first industry. But our food processing is going to be right here. So we're all the way over here. A little bit of a conundrum, right? So we're going to start off over here with 3 double burgage plots. These will be deleted later. 1, 2, 3. And then we're also going to start off with a logging camp right here. We're going to pop up our hitching post. We're going to order an ox right now. And then we're going to let them get to work. But all this over here, wonderfully ready. Hit tab and just make sure you didn't miss any of the corpse pits, because they'll walk over there and build it all up. But we're about to build a stupidly good city. It's going to be very, very big. We have all this other room. We have a ton of room for farming all around it. It's going to be great. But most of the industry is going to be located around these parts. Okay. I'm actually realizing a couple of mistakes here if we want to get our first family by April. Is that these things are just too far away. We want them to be facing. So I'm going to change it up. I want them to be as close to this log pile as possible. Close to this area as possible. We're going to place them over here. This is going to make it much faster and make it more likely that we hit our 6 families at the beginning of the first month. So let's build these up. Second, what we're going to do is we're going to get a road. It helps with a lot of stuff. Helps with the ox a little bit. And we'll just go around, ring around the rosy right there. And we'll connect this to the main road here. And let's get this started. This will be much, much faster. The further the distance that the ox has to travel, the harder it's going to be to hit that. This is a very close range. Alright, so we're getting the logging camp up. We need to start gathering wood pretty much immediately. I'm going to put 3 families into the logging camp. Let the other 2 families start building up the burgage plots. You don't really need more than 2 families at this stage because you're still pulling all the wood kind of in, right? So we want to get these houses built as fast as possible. And but we also want to counter that with getting as much wood as possible so that we can instantly start expanding the living spaces so that we can have 6 families here. We're going to hit 50% because everybody is housed at the beginning of the next month. Even though I'm at 48%, it's going to jump straight up to 50%. Alright, so expand the living space there. Expand the living space there. How much timber do we have? We need 2 more. Very, very good. I'm going to bump this down to 1 other person helping to expand. We have 2 buildings that need to be expanded right now. Alright. And then once we get this last piece of lumber, we can expand the living facility here. Expansion. Alright, almost expansion. And it is the 21st of March. We're doing really, really well. Alright, expansion. Perfect. We're in good shape. We're definitely going to hit that. So the next thing that we want to focus on is our food and our first granary. So we have a fishy over here and wild animals over here. Now, I'm a big, big fan of making kind of similar designed areas, right? So what I would like to do is have a partial circle over here for the granary. Our first granary is going to be placed right here. An equal distance between wild animals and the fishing. Actually, most likely I should probably keep it a little bit closer to the fishing over here. This is kind of a, you know, a big distance. And I know I moved this here, but I'm realizing now, zoomed out, right? This is really, really far away. So unfortunately, I'm going to play whack-a-mole one more time. Look at that. It only took like 40 times. That is much, much better. And we're going to be able to have a granary, right? This is going to be so optimal. It's going to be unbelievably optimal. The only problem is these houses could potentially scare the animals right here. So we'll have to be very, very careful with that. I think it can be done, though. We just want to make sure that we have a road going around this so that when people are walking, they're more likely to take the road around rather than going into the animal pen. But this is beautiful. I'm very, very excited about the efficiency gains here. And now people have a way to walk around. We're going to connect this right here. This is perfection. And we're going to delete all of... Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. Delete them all. Alright, we got all of them now. So this is beautiful. It's going to be a little wonky. The way we're doing things. Eventually I will actually just probably retain this as a lumber camp area. That way we can just keep these houses over here. So that's pretty awesome. We're in good shape. Very, very good shape. We got 2 people over there. And we need to now focus on food. This is where things could start hurting us quite a bit. So, gonna get a new circle design over here. Gonna be a little different, though. All right. Storehouse is gonna go right about here. The V formation there. All right. And we're going to have our first buildings here. We have a fisherman hut here once I get the wood. And we're going to have a hunting camp right now, right here. Look how close that is. That's going to be so beautiful. This area right here is going to be a food industrial area. We'll retain these areas over here for production of meat probably here, eggs over here. It's going to be glorious. We also want to make sure that we have a good road connecting this area over here. Make this a little bit faster for our ox. There we go. Beautiful. All right. So we're going to have a little bit of an issue here, but that's okay. It is now March 26th. We have one house that desperately needs to get that log. Come on, baby. March 27th. Build that house up. There we go. We have enough room for 6 families. Perfect. Beautiful day. We got a few things on the floor that we need to get up. Might not get them up just because when you're building a grand city, you have to lose certain things to get into your build faster. I mean, you could just build a small city out here, but what's the fun in that? So there's our second, or we have 2 assigned families and 4 free now because we just got our 6th family member. So now we need to just continue to get as much logs as possible. So I'm going to boot that up. We have people that are going to start moving over here to get the granary up. That's going to take a bit because of the distance. That's all right. And we are running out of food, and that's okay too. Let's get this hunting camp up. The hunting camp and any food-producing building that you have will pull from the pantry to feed people via the Amazon drone, so you don't have to worry too much about that stuff. But we're going to start moving everybody over here immediately. All right, fishing hut up. Let's get our food enterprises up, though. And we also need to get up another house. We're going to take kind of a hit here. But if you can get that 6th family member, it's a lot easier to survive a lot of these things. So it's pretty sweet. The industrial area, I think, actually should come over here next to this stone. So I think the first storehouse is going to be more located over here. You don't need to worry too much about your market stalls, simply because of the way the game works in reality. It's kind of silly that it works that way. I think I'm actually going to keep this line here. This is actually kind of cool. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but we can always delete it later. And let's get up our market area. It's going to be in the bottom half of this. 57 market stalls. That's more than we'll ever need, ever. Okay. So let's let them get to work. Like I said, it's going to take a bit to get some of this up. Firewood is 5 months. We've got 1 month of food. Granary's not really the big deal here. Let's get 1 person in the hunting camp. All right, I'm going to pull the logging camp down to 1 individual. Right now we have 10 lumber. Primarily what we need is people building. And we're going to try our best to start getting out some of the bigger houses. So what I would love to do right now is get all of the veggie plots up. So these are going to be the veggies. I found when going into 4 corpse pits, they get really stringy and they don't utilize the terrain very well. For historical plots, the 3 corpse pits is pretty ideal. You lose a little bit of efficiency, but it's pretty awesome. And you can see here we got a glorious thing going on. These are going to be beautiful plots right there. So boom, that's going to hold all the people we need, and it's going to allow us to go into the next step, which is, getting a bunch of veggies going. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. We got spots for granaries over here. We're going to be glorious. We're going to have an insane food production. We're going to start bringing in meat now, and that's going to help us out substantially. We want to get our approval ratings up higher than what they are. We're not going to get that 7th family simply just because of the distance, but that's okay. We'll get it soon. And there is a hungry family, but you know what? Whatever. They'll get some food. They'll be fine. Everyone will be fine. Get the granary up, please. But yeah, they'll eat from the pantry of the hunting camp, but that might not be enough. We'll get the fisherman hut up. That's going to feed the majority of people. I think we're going to pull in just enough food that people do not starve to death. And that is a glorious place to be. Unfortunately, we did not get that house up in time. I probably should have just built another house over here, to be honest. But it's okay. We kind of don't want to pull too fast or too hard because our food production's not adequate enough to feed additional people anyway. So it's all good. All right, we're waiting on 2 stone. Pump that up. Waiting on 1 log. Yeah, it's a bit of a distance for them to walk. That is the issue. But oh boy, once this city starts growing, it's gonna be awesome. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a sweet setup. Pretty chill over here already. Getting those back burgage plots up. Alright, granary is up. Let's put 1 individual in there to get the first market stall up. That will help keep our approval ratings up. Even though they're eating out of the pantry, they're not getting the benefit of food types until you have it in a market stall. That bonus comes from the availability, not consumption. Remember that availability is a completely different mechanic from consumption. I have guides on that if you want further information on my channel. Just look up my food mechanic guides. It's pretty detailed, so we'll kind of gloss over it, but you can just take my word for it in this video. Alright, we're beautiful. We're beautiful people today. Got 10 stone over here. Okay, that's enough for the church. Alright. Fisherman's hut's up. We're still at 50%. We're going to pop 1 dude in the fisher. I'm going to pull this gent out of the hunting camp. Alright, we got the granary. We got the fisher. We got, I think, 2 families in the logging camp because we're going to want more logs than what we have. And we're going to let them prioritize. Yeah, none of these guys have lumber. And the timer on the ox, when you order your first or your second ox, right? We got ours. It can be a little weird. So sometimes it takes a while for that ox to come. It looks like right now we're chilling with just the 1 ox. And we're going to need a lot of ox for a build this big. But you can see the animals are not in their nice little homes over here. We've sectioned this off not to scare them out of the circle. Oh no, they stole my meats. That's okay. We'll get more meats later. Alright, the fisher's doing his job. There's typically 11 spots for fishing, so you can only have a maximum of 11 families, but you gotta do a little bit of synergy. So the skills that we're going to use in this are going to be orchardry, for sure. So that's 1. We're definitely going to use advanced pond keeping. That's 2. We're definitely going to use beekeeping. Alright, so that would be 3. Now, if I want to do deep mining to sell stone, I would need to do 2, and coal would be really advantageous. But realistically speaking, we got 1, 2, 3. I do want to do trapping and advanced skinning because it's going to double my butcher production of meat when I start doing some butchery. And I think we're going to dabble in sheep breeding too. So that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 right there. We're not going to be able to do heavy plow. But yes, we will get into sheep breeding because sheep breeding is an amazing way to produce meat. My goal here is to produce just a stupid amount of food to kind of show you how systems can work. You don't even need to do this. It's completely insane, but it's awesome. So we're going to do it. Alright, yeah, this actually is a great area. You can see down here we have all the freaking firewood we could ever need. I'm going to keep potentially lumber over in this area since it has all the trees. We can have multiple, like we can have a storehouse that is literally just for firewood. There's nothing wrong with that. And honestly, a really good idea to do. So we're going to have a storehouse right here. We're going to have it connect at the crossroad right there. And then we're going to place our first woodcutter's lodge. The saw pit will eventually be moved closer to a logging camp area. So that's okay. And we need a saw pit. So we're going to get up our first industry right there. All right. We got 1 house over here. Perfect. We're going to leave that open until the beginning of August. There we go. We're at 50%. So we're going to get another family. Beautiful. Now we can expand the living facility here. And we have another burgage plot that's about to get up. This is wonderful news for us. Once we get the storehouse up, we'll get our spearmen. And we need to go take a bandit camp and get some money. There's a bandit camp over here. We need to start doing that immediately so that we can continue to expand these areas. Also, another thing that we can do once this is expanded, this area is expanded, is start getting our first veggie plots up. Start get those vegetables coming in. going to be a bit of an issue until we get more granaries, but we just need to expand our workforce as fast as possible. Okay. So we are going to get a vegetable garden up here. And we got another 15, so that's grand. We'll get another veggie plot up as soon as possible. They are definitely a little slow. We might lose that family, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to make... like, once you hit your stride, you're going to have more families than you know what to do with. It's going to be very scary. Because you can't feed them all. Alright, prioritize that. Alright, we just need to let them all kind of catch up. But they're doing a great job. The village is starting to come together. The layout's definitely looking very sharp right now. You can see with the 3 burgage... You can see with the 3 corpse pits here on the burgage plot that you get an okay thing. Now, if you slant this a bit, you get less dead loss. But I'm going to be honest, you're going to be producing more food than you even know what to do with. So it becomes kind of silly at a certain point trying to be crazy efficient. It's definitely really cool. But it's not really necessary. The game kind of compensates for a lot of this stuff. So you can make cities that look a little bit cooler and more ideal for what you're trying to do. It's not going to break the game for you. I will say, here, I am slightly afraid of losing backyard plots. Okay. So what we need to do is just make sure that we know that this is the minimum right here. So if I build anything, it needs to be below this point. Otherwise, we risk not having backyard extensions on this point. Very good. All right, we got our first point. I typically put that in the apples since orchards take forever. You could also put it into fish if you wanted to just focus on that, but we're going to do apples. All right, we have 3 people who are building. We definitely need to get the storehouse up and just get some things going. If we can get our troops, we can at least steal the bandit camps if the other lord comes out to attack. All right, we got that message. Need to form that militia. There we go. We got ourselves a gang of spearmen. 16 out of 36. Let's wait till we hit 20. So that we don't lose too many people. On the other hand, though, we could technically take it. But let's just wait for a couple more families to come in. We have space for them. Alright, there we are. Let's get that next vegetable garden up. Beautiful. Alright, we're going to hold off on expanding until the next family moves in. We're going to put 1 individual in the storehouse. We need to start collecting fuel as soon as possible next to maintain our high approval rating of 50%. I guess that's high. We're going to start overfishing here in a second. So, we got 120 fish. We can slap 1 dude into the hunting camp now. Got 2 free individuals, and we have 2 people logging. I think this is actually really good. Nice. Got that new family. And these veggie gardens are going to start helping us out next year. So this is going to be pretty big. Alright, so they moved in. So let's expand that living facility. Right now we're just kind of getting hurt by the lack of... we just need more ox, eventually. So let's get 2 hitching posts here. Get ready. Got 18. I think that's good enough. I'm alright losing 1, to be honest. We just really want to get that money. We'll get 2 food types now, between everything going on there. Now the trick to killing the bandits is to let them come to you. Try to take them in an open clearing. Don't have them run to position. You want as much stamina as possible. And form them 2 by 2, like that. And put them in stand your ground. The stand your ground will help you absorb the charge damage. Once they charge and hit you, then you go out of stand your ground to push forward. This will finish them off. Alright. They're having a good old time. Alright, so they're coming out to us now. So we're going to wait, recharge our stamina to increase our effectiveness. You can see most of our effectiveness negative is due to fatigue. So we'll be alright. We got 10 impaling, got 8 shield, we got 5 armor, got 1 attack. A very low attack when you're in this formation, but it will dramatically reduce the damage done by charges. Alright, here they come, strutting through the forest. Bunch of jerks, man. Bunch of jerks. They're not even taking me serious. They definitely look pretty serious. That's why spearmen are so awesome in the very beginning of the game. Spears have been around for thousands and thousands of years for this reason. Alright, so here they come. They're going to charge. Alright, charge has been initiated. Double click with the right mouse button. So now you can see we're doing a lot more damage. Still says one attack. So we'll see if that's true. Alright. So this is always a little fun to watch and also a little boring. But basically you take the spear and you poke it at the enemy repeatedly. It's a beautiful mating dance. There we go. We dropped one. Dropped two. Oh, yeah, they're dropping like flies now. There we go. Now we've killed them. And we lost one of our own. If we would have waited for 20, we would have lost nobody. But you know what? Sometimes you gotta lose a spearman to buy an ox. Just the way of the game. Now we could put the money into the treasury so that we can hire mercenaries. But to be honest, I just really want that money. I'm gonna send these gents back. Now another thing that we need to take into consideration is that we are desperately gonna need to start making bow units here pretty darn soon. So what I would like to do is go down into the industrial area here and place 2 more houses. Now these two houses are going to be artisan houses, and they're going to make bows, or they're going to make boots, or whatever I need, right? We'll get these up fast. The problem that will occur is if you don't build your artisan houses at the very beginning, you have to wait for more families to come in. If you build like 13 houses, you have to wait for all of those houses to become people to move in before you can get your artisans, and you get really screwed. So it's important once you get, you know, your first areas up like this, you immediately get up at least like 2 to 3 artisan buildings. At least 1, so you can build the bow units. So we'll build our guys down here. Also, it grants living spaces near some of the buildings that will be around this area. Pretty cool. Alright, Fisher Hut's up. Woodcutter Lodge is now up. We do not want anybody freezing to death, so let's actually put 2 people in here real quick. Hopefully they will go out and get some wood very fast. We're playing it a little different than I usually do on the... Yeah. But you know what? The funny thing is if anyone does freeze to death, someone will take their place. I don't know if that's funny, but like someone will move in. They'll be like, I'm cool with that, you know? They don't have a problem. They do not have a problem with it. All right, we're good to go now. Band unit. Get all these gents back to work. Felling a tree, felling a tree. He's cold. Yeah, well, everybody's cold sometimes, sir. The good thing is the storehouse will start carting those resources to the market. We'll create his market stall over here. Now, remember what I said? If I didn't say it properly, food and items are consumed from the storehouse and the granaries first. So they will, the one thing they do actually travel for is firewood. So that's kind of a problem in a design like this because everyone's traveling all the way down here for firewood, right? So in this design, we may want to think about that in the future. I may actually move firewood production to a corner area like over here, or even keep it slightly over here to move it up. That way there's a little bit more going on. But I honestly think we're in a pretty good place. Like, you can put a storehouse even at the center of the design, like right here, and just only have it be filled with firewood and just have them kind of cycle. So it's not really a bad idea to have another storehouse up here. We're going to do that. So that's why I'm doing that. I just want to kind of explain why I'm doing certain things. It's one of the only things outside of water. So water and firewood are the 2 things that people actually travel to pick up. It's pretty annoying. Water is going to be definitely a little different, right? Oh, look at that. We got a nice little spot right here. So we'll get the water up. And these things aren't going to cost you too much in efficiency. We'll get another water up over there. What do we got? We got any water over here? Oh, we got water right there. Okay. Well, that could cost us a field in this area over here. So we'll get a well right up over there. Perfect. All right. A few wells. Pretty darn cool. Let's get a well down over here. Wells are good to have. Very cheap. And over here in our lumber camp, we'll have a well over there, so they don't have to travel for that too. These individuals will have to travel, but they send one person to get the firewood for the entire burgage plot. So they usually send the kid or the female. It's not really that big of a deal getting these resources whatsoever. All right, let's get these burgage plots up. So we got plenty of living space now. We're at 50%. We're going to start really growing our population. We do have an enormous sum of money. So we're going to extend vegetable gardens out there. And we're also going to start ordering multiple ox to really start speeding things up for us. We're also going to need far more hitching posts than what we have. So let's keep that going. We do have a big chunk of change now, which is beautiful. To help us get those apple orchards. So now that those houses are going, it's time to expand and get the rest of this up. So this is going to be 3 apple orchards. Now the apple orchard is going to be longer. They don't interact the same way as veggies. It's like every 3rd apple tree is harvested, which is really weird. And so here we go. So these can always be a little bit bigger, and you don't have too difficult of efficiency issues. Also, remember, we're going to probably trade apples, so it'll be a beautiful day. Now, the church is going to require planks, so we're going to want to start getting some planks up once that saw pit's going. And we're also going to want to get a boyer workshop up pretty much ASAP. Eventually, we're going to move into crossbow units, because they're the best. Got ourselves another bandit camp. That's pretty sweet. Not too worried at all, to be honest. We're not going to extend the living spaces on these gents. We're going to keep it to 1 family. Track movement. We have 365 days to prepare. We're going to be ready. All right, saw pit is now up. So what we're going to do here is go to our advanced tab and turn on a timber reserve of 12 and a plank production limit of 50. We're gonna get that guy going. Now, when you are kind of screwed like I am, and you have a big swath of area, and you only have limited livestock, and you're trying to get something going, I actually do assign one of the mules, not mules, ox, to the saw pit, because otherwise you just won't ever get any production. So what we want to do is get that church up. We need Jesus real bad here. These people are hurting. And we're going to place our church right around these parts. I was thinking a tavern and the church here. And behind the tavern is going to be the brewer. We do have a storehouse here, so not only can we do firewood, but we can actually do some... This will be good, so we can do some of the alcohol production here too. So actually what I'm thinking we're going to do is get the brewer up right here. Sometimes you have to end the snap to road tool. Get what you want. Go. So here's a double burgers plot. This is going to be the brewer. Now I'm going to cut a line across so I can get some good stuff in here. This is beautiful. Storehouse, burgers plot, brewer, church. The church is going to go, I think actually, right here in the back. Now they do travel to the church. We'll likely have multiple churches. And the tavern, I think, is going to go probably right here. So the brewer has an easier time getting close to it. That'll be great. And I'm pretty sure we'll be able to fit the church up right over here. It's going to be glorious. There we are. So we're pulling in way more food than we need. Way more fish. Let's just make sure that we're set 120. We want to set it to 2/3. Technically, but one person is... You need multiple families to fish beyond the capacity. It's going to grow 50% for 3 months between March, April, and May, I believe. So we're in good shape there. That's when you want to, you know, farm it. There we go. All right, how many do we have? 4? Okay, cool. We need to get those apples going. They take about 3 years to reach maturity now. Okay. Burgage plot there. He is claiming more territory. Now we did assign an ox over here. Don't frustrate me. I think what we're gonna do to speed things up, this isn't something I normally would do, but we have this whole area over here for wood. We're gonna move wood production temporarily right here. I am going to create a new network of roads. There we go. That will speed this up substantially. This is going to be where the majority of our lumber is done. It's also good to have multiple lumber areas. And let's make sure we are indeed ordering ox. Let's place an ox area right here. Maybe a few, right? Now the trade post should go straight across the road from the storehouse. This is not going to be the main storehouse. The main storehouse will probably move up just a tad bit to make it easier for the lower gents to get firewood from there, and then the higher gents to get firewood from up here. That'll be fantastic. So in the advanced tab, we're going to just say nothing should be stored here except for firewood. That'll be a beautiful day. Okay, so we have a positive rating of 55%. Everything is coming to fruition. Alright, apples there. Yeah, let's get some apples over here. This is fan-freaking-tastic. Now, we're going to get up the chicken coops first, once we start expanding. And we're going to get the tannery up next, right here. Perfect. Look how close that is to the storehouse. I guess, technically speaking, I should just preemptively move the woodcutter up here and get it going. So we do have a pretty good wood cutting area, I would say, right over here, right? And that's not too crazy of a distance for that gent to travel. I do think we'll eventually run out, though. That is a problem. Maybe I should keep it right where it is for the time being. Just out of abundance of a caution. We can always expand and create different areas. That's the cool thing about this game. All right, we got the well up. Just need to get a leather up and a church. But yeah, we're just taking this slow. Not rushing anything. Just not really worried about the bandits. They're not very difficult to destroy. Okay. And also, we're going to go and get some money so that we can fight them. Like the Lord took out all the bandit camps because I was sleeping on the job. Alright, well that's fine. Alright, let's order another ox. Gotta get these ox going. There we go. We got that stuff going now. Okay. So here, we're going to assign that to this large area. We're going to be deforesting the majority of this, so we might as well get something good out of it. We're going to pull the individuals from over here out for the time being. We're going to get this going. It's going to be glorious. And we'll have a little bit better operation going on over here. Alright, we got the church. So let me do this proper. Let's first get the tavern up. And then the church, I think, is going to go snap the road off. I like to do my churches a little different. We definitely have room for things. I want the church to be kind of centered. I like to use the only cosmetic we have in the game. Give it a little bit of authority there. Some shrines in front. There we go. There we are. That will be the church area up there. Very good. Alright, the families are moving in pretty fast now. Definitely need to continue to get these fields up. Get these apples going. And living spaces. There we go. Got the apples going. These are going to be very good producers. Alright, and the storehouse is full, so we definitely need to upgrade this. We can't, because we don't have enough boards, enough planks. We definitely do. We'll have to wait for the planks to rebuild up. Alright, we're going to get the tannery going now. It's going to be beautiful. May need to get one more individual into the storehouse. Eventually, I'll probably bring some of that up here. There we go. We're going to upgrade the storehouse, prioritize that to the highest priority. Okay. Got 210 turns. Once the church is up, once the food supply hits a proper amount, we can start upgrading. Put 2 people into the granary. We have 10 burgage plots now, 13 constructed. Definitely going to need more. One more ox. Alright, we got ourselves a new bandit camp. We are going to make our way there. Like the Lord's actually going to make a move. So we need to run. Too fatigued to run. Perfect. We'll let them assemble real quick. Alright, we're definitely going to steal this, and then we'll use the coins to hire a mercenary army if we cannot get an army of ourselves in time. This is the smartest way to deal with the early stages. If we hit the enemy first, too, we also get the influence from the kill. Gotta be really careful with this. We're probably going to trigger them right here. Alright, there are bandits. Sometimes you have to check to see if the bandits are there. Sometimes the camps are empty. You can actually just walk up and take it. Yeah, we triggered them. Okay. Their archers are going to help us. Oh, this isn't good at all. They said, oh, you got it. They're like, you got it, man. You don't need our help. Well, oh, there we no. All right, well, we screwed up because they moved. It's okay. I'm just going to go straight for the money. All right, put it in the treasury. That's enough money to hire a very basic mercenary company. Run everyone back to work. Alright, storehouse is up. That food stall. Common stall with leather. Firewood. We're doing great. Alright. Small tavern. Church is almost up. Another thing that we're going to need to do is start getting more stone so we can upgrade our granary. Let's get the stone cutter up. Right next to the stone. Perfect. Order another ox. Disband the units. We're good to go, man. This is great. We have 4 available living spaces. Got a lot of produce going. So let's start with the next batch. I'm going to do the apples first, I think. Yeah, there we go. There we go. This is going to be an insane amount of food. A very, very insane amount of food. There we go. Perfection. You can see, when you're zoomed in, it doesn't look like much. But once you realize the true scope of everything that's going on, it becomes quite obvious that this is going to be an insane amount of food. Okay. 1 person into the stone cutter. Let's see what else we need. Alright, we're doing great. We're doing really, really well now. And it looks like we can upgrade all of these to level 2. We're going to do that now. We can start making bows here in a second. Don't think we're going to even need to do that, though. We're definitely going to be selling bows in our build. We've got our wood church up. It's beautiful. Take a peek around. We also want to get all the clay. So, yeah. The clay mine here. The iron mine here. That's beautiful. We'll definitely be taking advantage of those resources. Alright, and then our next goal would be to get fields up. I'm kind of scared to destroy all these beautiful things we have here. Let's get the roads correct. Now, a farmhouse, as you can see, is exactly the gap between the 3s and the 4s. So I'm thinking we do this smart, right? We put our farmhouses right here in the gap. This is beautiful, actually. This is really beautiful. We're going to have another granary over here. Along with, you know, a windmill and all that jazz. So let me see what we can fit here. We need to fit a windmill. 38% efficiency is not going to cut it, and that could be from a lot of different reasons. 0% efficiency, it's because of all the trees. So, this area is pretty bad and good for barley, so I think it's all going to wash out. So what I would like to do, get a perfect 1 Morgan plot. Now, we're not going to be using mules, so ox. So technically we can make these as big as we want. I would still err on the side of caution, though, and not go over 1 or so. 1.3 is probably fine. But we want them to go field to field. They're going to need to work smart. Now, these might be too big, but that's okay. 1.4. Yeah, I think the windmill is going to do grand here. Now, the center of all this is right here. It says 0% efficiency right now. So what I think we're going to do is just have this be kind of a cool, special little area. Have a circle road around all of this. Straight road. Perfect. Okay. Okay, we're getting close. This is the last one right here. There's still a lot of space on the side. All great. But this is way more than we're going to need. You can see that behind all these producers, so we're going to have another granary here and some bread makers down the sides. This whole area is just going to be focused on bread, barley. Now we have a storehouse over here. A small tavern, burgage plots, small tavern. We have another space for another granary that can help with the logistics for alcohol. Eventually, I'll have to find a spot within the design for honey, but we're not quite there yet. But at least we have the basis of our farming region right now. So this is looking like a pretty freaking strong build. Keep this going. Oh yeah, look at that. We got these guys over here. Like I said, we want to get those apples going as soon as possible because they take forever. We're thinking years in the future right now. Okay. So we got some tier 2s. We'll want to get our manor up here pretty soon. 86 turns until our first bandito attack. Here we are at chapter 2. All right. Our nice little area is getting up quite effectively over here. So we will have, it looks like, a little bit of bow production. 82 days until we are attacked by banditos. Gotta be a little careful about that. Everybody's doing pretty well over here, though. Okay, we got burgage plot level 2s coming up. So once these are upgraded, we're going to go straight into the making of bows. Right. Church is up. Everything is coming along really well right now. Windmill is going to come up right here. It'll be great. I just realized I built sheep farms, not the other farms. Oh, whoopsie daisy. Someone's going to comment about that one. Alright. We'll have to let them move some of the supplies, but the farmhouses will still fit here. This is actually just fine. And between the points, we could have another road, but this back road's actually kind of unnecessary. It's just kind of a placeholder, so we'll just leave it alone. I think it looks good the way it is. Okay, so we've got some of our deposits getting up here shortly too. We do have the ability to start getting stone, which we have one individual collecting. 638 stone, 637 stone. I don't actually think we can do a rich deposit. In the coming patch, they are going to have stone quarries and lots of other stuff like that. So it's going to take a pretty big turn, especially because we'll have to have stone walls for manors. That's going to be really, really awesome. As they've noted too, they're going to start coming out with smaller patches once the total overhaul comes out, but I don't anticipate the overhaul patches coming out for quite some time, to be quite honest. It's a very ambitious patch, and I believe it's going to take them quite a bit of time. Alright, so the next perk we're going to get is Advanced Pawn Keeping immediately. That's going to double our population over here. And we're going to use a 2/3. I think we're going to set this to around 530 for now. And we're also going to put one person for now, but we'll put 2 people. Also allows us to get fish in the winter time. This is pretty darn good. Right now we have more than enough firewood. 22 months. Granary's looking pretty. We should definitely increase the granary size right now. Very good. Okay, fisherman's hut is golden. 1 hunting camp seems to be more than sufficient for what we're trying to accomplish. We have a bit of an inefficiency over here because we do not have the granary. So we need to start kind of thinking ahead here. So let's get the granary, and I want it facing, if possible, this direction right here. Come on. Ugh. All right. Okay. We're going to turn the snap to road tool off. Place it down centrally. And have it go out like this. But yes, we can move in all directions from here. So this is a part that costs a little bit in the design, but in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be beautiful. There we are. Another centered. Very beautiful. All right, and let's make sure that all of these areas over here are getting up. We're a little broke. Got 39 turns. Come down here. And we're going to get a Boyer's workshop right there. Does not look like we're going to be able to get our archers in time, but that's all right because we have enough money. And we also need to start looking at getting our manor up. And the manor, I think, could actually go over here and look pretty cool. Let us order another ox, though. We need more ox. We're going to have a lot of people, so I'm not too worried about some of the inefficiencies in designs. Like, we're going to have people that are just basically doing nothing. So, that'll be fun. We're also going to need a spot. We will actually need a spot for sheep farming. Now, I had the potential. I could go into, like, fertilization, but we'd have to do heavy plow, so we don't have enough points for any of that. The alternative is that I skip advanced skinning, which would be somewhat wise, because we're still going to pull in meat, but we're not going to get the double meat from all the animal pins, butchers, and hunters, so it kind of sucks. We definitely need to go with honey. So if I go with honey, that's 3, right? That would be 3. I could go into heavy plow and fertilization for pasture fields, but that's not really necessary. I think we'll skip it. I think we'll just do sheep breeding, honey, trapping, and advanced skinning like we talked about. And I think that's going to be more than sufficient, to be quite honest. And it looks like I need another spot. Okay. So, I'm thinking we get a few spots over here. Kind of in the background of everything over here. Use the snap to road tool. There we go. There we are. A couple of those up. That'll be great. We have a lot of families moving in, so we need to be smart here. Okay. Boyer's workshop is up. We're going to put a production limit of 40. Eventually we will start selling bows. They're a good trade item. And we'll start recruiting right now. Now I can already tell that I'm going to want a road going all the way down the center of this. Simply because I want people to be able to traverse a little bit easier. Yeah, that looks great. I think we'll get roads going down these ways as well. Yes. That'll make it easier for people to kind of crisscross, right? Alright. So we got 14 turns until we're attacked. So we're going to come over and recruit our first mercenary. Now, we don't really need too expensive of a mercenary, so we're going to go with the one for 50. Sign that contract. Now we got to pay that every month. And we are going to bring those gents over here. And we are going to run them. Oh, nice. They spawned right in our region. Very good. I thought they were going to spawn much further away, but we're good. We got a bandit camp. All the way over there. Well, if we have time, we'll go and attack that bandit camp as well. Also going to upgrade a few of these hitching posts. Order another ox. Alright. The raiders have been spotted all the way down there. Well, in order to get this done quicker, I'm actually going to try to meet the raiders on the battlefield and kill them. The faster I can kill them, the better. In fact, I don't really actually care if they are tuckered out. Oh, it looks like the Lord's going to do it for me. So that's cool. We're going to make a run for this camp over there and get the money. Alright, looks like the Lord did it for me. So we're just going to make a massive run. I don't care if they're tuckered out. I don't really care if they die, because we're going to disband them. Okay. And the Lord is claiming a lot more territory now. Ooh, I don't want to pay that 50, though. I do not want to pay that 50. But the money we get from the camp will make up for it. So I could have sent pretty much anybody else. Alright, here they come. Now what we want to do is get the first attack on them. And we'll get the influence from that. Okay, killed a bunch. Now I'm going to run for the money. And we're going to put this into our treasury. Yeah, unfortunately, we had to pay them. So that sucks. And let's get the kill anyway, right? Now I should get the influence for that. Well, you win some, you lose some. There we go. We got 22 archers. We're starting to fill up. So we just need to start making sure we're pulling in as many citizens as possible. We also need to get the manor up pretty much right now, in fact. So thinking the manor would be pretty decently located right here in the center of all this jazz. Get that built up. And we'll get the road. I like to make the roads kind of naturally go into points. I think it makes it look a little bit better. Like when it blends in at an angle to a road. A little bit more natural. Okay, look at that. Got ourselves a good granary right there. Okay. So over here, we're going to make this granary specific to just veggies and apples. And so we got to be careful. We're probably going to have more market stalls than we need. And I may or may not do some interesting things. I think that it's cool to do market stalls. People will still bring other goods to market stalls, so you don't have to worry too much about the efficiency of market stalls. So I think this granary will do market stalls, but the one that's for collecting eggs will not, for instance. And so we're going to put one person in here and one family to help haul all of the veggies and apples here. And we're going to upgrade it as well to reduce spoilage rates. Very, very good. And then the storehouse here is going to be firewood only. And we are going to upgrade this for sure. All right, look at that. This is for our alcohol. It says residential requirements not met. Ah, we need more boards. Okay, so boards is gonna become a pretty big bottleneck here. So let's increase the limit of boards to 100. And let's put our timber reserve at 14. I want to be able to expand very quickly. Also, let's put 3 people into the logging camp here. And let's put 1 person into the logging camp over here. Let's also start preemptively getting things up like foresters. We could probably actually continue to cut wood in this area if we just properly reforest everything. So we'll do 1 more forester. I'm really looking forward to the forestry mechanics. There's going to be wooded areas in the new patch, and that's going to determine yields and growth rates. So you're actually going to need to properly manage and probably rotate multiple areas to make sure that you're not over harvesting or over cutting areas. The new patch is going to be really, really neat. Sounds like it's going to be a whole new game. Looking forward to doing a lot of content on it. Okay, so the same thing over here. This is also going to be a veggie apple area. And let's put 1 gent in there and upgrade. It's a little bit overkill right now, I know, but it's okay. We're also going to need to start getting farms up here in a second. But we're going to hold off on that for just a tad. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's like a glove. Boom, like a glove. Now, it's not going to show me the efficiency on this thing. I'm going to assume that the efficiency here is actually quite high. What we need to do is get all these trees cut down. And that's actually relatively easy. So let's pause the game really, really fast. So what I want to do is, as long as you place shrines down on the trees, sometimes it does get rid of. There we go. So you can see the efficiency went up on that as you saw that the tree was removed. Efficiency up. Looks like the bush was away. So You can actually just use the erase shrubbery tool to get rid of some of the shrubberies. But these trees, you can use realistically any building. You could even use farmland, I believe, if we wanted to just quickly remove this. And then you can delete the farmland. Such. One way to do it. Clear the area out. But I'm going to do the shrines just because I think it looks kind of cool. And unfortunately, this area right here is being rather difficult. So we're going to use a miniature farm plot. There we go. Got rid of the tree. You can see the efficiency went up. So getting that efficiency up. Go efficiency. It's kind of weird. Even after everything, it still says efficiency up. That's kind of cool. I didn't think it would actually do that. So that's kind of neat. And for our granary here, we're going to have it meet right here at the circle. I think that's beautiful. Okay. And then we're also going to have multiple bakeries here. I'm actually thinking we're going to turn the snap to road tool off. And we're going to have the bakeries hopefully lining the sides like this. May not be possible. There we go, we did it. There we go. We'll loop it around like that. Very cool. Okay, this is looking like it's going to work. Everything's going to be dandy. Let's get it done. All right. So we got our glorious windmill. I think one will do with 3 workers in it. Get all the shrines up. The holy, the holy windmill. Look at them go. The manor's up. We'll get a tax going. Trade post is definitely the next thing we need to focus on. So you need to figure out where you're going to have the majority of the goods that you are selling located. Large storehouse is here. We're probably going to be selling quite a bit of stuff. This is, I think, a good location because the tannery is right there. Let's upgrade a few more hitching posts for sure. Now, wood cutting, I think, is actually really, really decent in this area here. We got all the shrines up now. The large storehouse over here needs 1 individual. And he's just going to do firewood. Honestly, we could also do leather storage here if we felt like it. Nothing wrong with it. I'm going to leave these trees up. Alright, we got 1 available living space. We're kind of running low on money. As you can see, we need to start looking into that. Now that sucks right there. It got cut off. One problem with some of these designs is you do have a little inefficiency there. But you know what? It's fine. The woodcutter lodge, though, I think we're going to relocate it here. Gonna do a split road off. But what I want to do first is get my trading post up right next to the storehouse so that it can just quickly move goods. And keep in mind, there are some issues with pathfinding. So I found it's actually, like, they can get kind of stuck, right? So I found that there is an advantage to having a little bit of space between you and the road so things aren't getting stuck on other objects. And sometimes keeping objects a little bit back off the road can be very beneficial. So we're going to kind of move things around. This is good. This is wide enough gap. And then back here is the woodcutter. And unfortunately, I did not build it in a way that I could get around that, so that's fine. Let's just do the woodcutter like so. And we'll also place a forester right here to help reforest the area that we're cutting down for firewood. Most likely, we're going to have a lot of houses, and we're going to need an enormous, enormous amount of firewood. Okay. Well, we got them archers, though, so we're going to keep it going. So we just need to build our population to build our army right now. I'm also going to stop collecting veggies and apples here. I'm going to turn that off. We're going to turn off ale, malt, grain, flour, just preemptively here, too. Fine storing it collectively amongst all the guys up there, but we do not want these gents in any way doing any of that stuff. Turn all that off too. Turn off bread. Turn off eggs. Turn off meat. I mean, honestly, yeah, I'll leave honey on. Sausage, no. But let's just focus on what we're doing down here. Sorry. So meat, yes. So fish, honey, meat, all that's good. And we got 2 people doing that. That's Probably more than enough right there. 2 families is more than enough to keep these things going. The fisherman hut, we're going to bump up to 2 people now. And we need to get some firewood in here. We may need to get a firewood cutter near here. Thinking kind of this whole area here is kind of great for firewood. It's a bit of a jaunt, but the whole point of this is because people travel to get 2 things, water and firewood. Firewood, food, are consumed from storehouses and granaries before they're consumed from market stalls. Food is consumed, like, they don't have to touch it at all, but firewood they actually have to come and get. So you do want an area at the heart, so we have a place here, a place down here where people can travel. Now, they only send 1 person, so it's really not that big of a deal. Like, but anytime you can kind of improve those efficiencies is going to be beneficial for you. All right, this granary is going to be purely rye, wheat, all that jazz. So we're going to cut all this out and then put bread. We'll keep all of this here, and maybe even booze here is fine. Large granary upgraded. I mean, because it's right here, the small tavern. We're going to upgrade this to a large tavern. We're going to upgrade this to level 2 so we can get a brewery going. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And so now that I have a trade post up, I want to save enough money. And the first thing I want to buy is warbow trade routes. Now the reason for this is that every time you buy a trade route, it gets more and more expensive. So I think this goes from 50 to 150. So we want to buy this first and then buy lesser trade routes. So we can be kind of smart here. We're going to start selling anything over 50 boards. This is very, very easy for us to sell. I'm not going to sell any of my stone. Simply because I usually have to import it. So I like it just the way it is. We can start selling fish and vegetables. But we're not quite there yet. We will do that, but we're not quite there. Firewood we could easily start selling. So let's start exporting anything over 300 firewood. We're not going to buy a trade route. Small merchants will come and purchase little bits. We're just trying to build up 50. So I think we'll build up our 50 wealth like that. We're also getting a couple wealth from burgage plots that we upgraded. Now, I'm going to start upgrading a lot of these burgage plots so we can start generating passive wealth. Also to increase their pantry size. Very, very important to increase them pantries. And I always upgrade my farmland right after artisan buildings. There we go. Alright, we got our work cut out for us. This is looking beautiful. And we have no available living facilities. So the first place I want to get up is eggs. So we're going to come over here. And we're going to get up our first batch of houses. And so here's the deal. Single and double burgage plots both produce the same amount. Eggs are produced 1 per burgage plot per month. Doesn't matter if it's a single, doesn't matter if it's a double, it's always going to be 1. But, let's pause the game. They consume the same amounts of firewood, and they also consume the same amount of market stalls in regards to approval bonuses. So the more burgage plots I have, the more goods I have to have available in marketplaces, which means the more workers I have to have. But it also means I'm producing more eggs and more meat. So that's kind of the trade-off, is you have to account for that. Now, since we're making a big city, that's not a problem. The smaller your city, the more of an issue this is. It's a significant issue, and you don't really want to use single burgage plots if you have a small city. But we're not making a small city, so I just kind of wanted to explain that. We also need to start making boots here really, really fast. But we are going to need a lot of market stalls, and that's okay. I'm prepared for that. But I just wanted to explain that this is pretty expensive to do what I'm doing right here. And there we go. And there we go. And I already messed this up. So we want all of these houses here actually facing this bottom road so that it's closer to the granary for efficiency's sake. Now this granary here is going to fully focus on gathering eggs. All it's going to do is eggs. All production here is going to be eggs. Over here, we're going to do pigs. So I want all of these guys facing downward like this, so that it's just one row of houses that he needs to go through to get everything. We are also going to, of course, need an additional granary. Now this granary potentially isn't going to have market stalls, but we might need to. Thinking we're actually going to have a lot of market stalls, so that will be interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so this is a lot of houses for them to build, so let's let them get all that up. Continue to build our wealth. Now, we do have a bandit camp all the way down here. I don't think I can get there in time, unfortunately. So they are going to get that one. That sucks. That's okay. Now the manor is up. I can start taxing. I'm going to start taxing at 10%. Probably should have waited till I got to 50, but once we start selling bows, it's going to be huge. We're also going to increase our production limit to 100. Now we have another point. So what I'm thinking we'll do... Honey is going to be something we do very, very last when we have a bunch of extra people. Same with sheep breeding, very, very last. So let's go into trapping and advanced skinning. And we're going to rename our city because I don't like the city name here. We're going to be called Cool Town. Alright, and we need to put one family in the trade post. Let's order a horse and let's permanently assess... Permanent assignment right here. Alright, firewood is up for sale. I'm actually going to put 2 families in here. Start generating money that way. We're going to put 3 people in this large storehouse because I believe we need more stalls over here for all the burgage plots. Clothing is going to become an issue, so we do need to make a bootmaker. But in order to do that, we will need tools. And unfortunately, we do not have any tools because they got stolen. But that's alright. We're going to create a bloomery and a smithy. Also going to create a back road. Gonna have more stuff coming off the sides here. There we are. And then we're going to start gathering all the materials over here. Start getting a little bit of iron. That'll be great. And the wood is really starting to come in. That's fantastic. Saw pit. I think I'm going to get 2 people. Supposedly they fixed it, but we'll find out, won't we? Forester hut. So the forester hut, we want to assign our area. Put 1 person here. This forester hut, put 1 person here. Assign our area. We want to immediately start regrowing as much as possible. We are. Good. And the same thing over here. We want to make this very, very big. This is a big area. Not gonna... I guess I should assign somebody. Yeah, let's assign someone now. We have a lot of free people right now. Alright, we got 50. So now we're going to go over and buy our first trade route for warbows. Now we can use the horses. Now we can sell mass quantities. And we are going to export everything over 40. We can sell up to 50. We can go up to 100. So there's a, 10 variants, and that's to account for things getting stuck in inventories. It doesn't usually happen, but it's always good to be better prepared. And we're going to need a little bit more hides. That's okay. Upgrade some of these hitching posts. All right, so here's the real issue. I need to start setting these, so I'm going to count. We got 24, so that's a perfect 8, pretty much. 8 per. That's great. So these 8 over here are going to be wheat and barley. Now, we can actually do flax. You can, as long as you don't grow the same thing consecutively, you don't lose barely any fertility. Just an FYI. We're not going to do that right now, but that's something you can absolutely do. And then you can make light armor. Try to sell light armor with flax, but I found just selling bread and stuff is actually pretty darn easy. But you could go wheat, barley, and flax, no problem. Okay, so those are all set. So over here, same thing. This will be 8th. So we're just going to alternate it. That way, 3 fields are blooming in a year with a fallow year. Most likely, we're going to be able to sell alcohol as well. This is going to be far more than we can consume. Okay. One on that I missed right here. But yeah, look at that. 92% wheat fertility. Amazing. Okay. And then all the rest of them are just going to be the alternative, which is wheat in the 3rd Barley in the first. Okay, we're good. Now I just need to get the families in. So that's going to be the next goal. It's focusing primarily on all the things we need for this. So we just need to get all these families in. The money's starting to flow in. We got 186. Immediately what I want to do right now is start making sure all the apples are getting up, since this is going to take us 3 to 4 years. And then we'll go down on the veggies. Okay. There we go. We got one gen over here doing all that. That's beautiful. And then we got the granary over here. And his entire existence is just going to be eggs and no market stall. All he's going to do is collect eggs. So let's bump that up to a large granary. We're going to start buying eggs and all these gents. That's going to start offsetting some of our food consumption. It's going to be a beautiful thing. We now also have the bloomery and the smithy. And I'm just going to cap this at 10 tools. And I'm going to cap... I mean, it doesn't actually really matter if I cap production here. We'll cap it at 100. Alright, so that guy is full. So in order to make sure that they're pulling in lumber while we're all, dilly-dallying, I'm going to create a few more lumber camps. Move that middle road. Okay. There we go. Just another place to store some lumber for a time. Okay, and we need to start cutting wood. I'm going to put 2 people in the woodcutter lodge now. We're going to need a lot of it. Food is kind of diminished right now, but I'm not too concerned because we're about to really start cooking. Got ourselves another bandit camp. All the way down there. It looks like we're going to be in a race for it. I think we can actually win this race. And we don't have to use our big dogs. We can just use our basic retinue. And we're going to put them on a run. Yeah, they're kind of slow boating over there, so let's see if we can steal this. Alright, look at that. To wait for the army to take them. Okay, now we can come in and steal. Ooh, we just got that. I'm actually going to throw this in the town so that we can start making better progress here. We need to really start getting some things dialed in here. So let's come over here. We got everything that we can think of. Let's definitely expand the living spaces over here. Every single one of these plots. Make sure all these guys are set up. Yeah, we missed a few over here. Beautiful. Okay, we're in good shape. And now we're going to go a little crazy. First and foremost, got to order that ox. Always got to be ordering an ox. Perfection. And then we're just going to start doing eggs from the top down. This is going to generate quite a bit of eggs. It's going to be pretty amazing. I think a lot of people don't understand when to use certain food items. When you're building a big city, you want to utilize as many food sources as possible, because it decreases how much other foods are consumed, and it makes it much easier to hit all 4 food types. Now remember, as of the recent patch, it will mix and match all foods. So you can have 10 apples and 10 eggs, and that will fulfill one of 4 requirements. So if you have 6 foods, and you can only produce 100 here, 100 here, and you need 200, that's all you have to do. So every egg that consumed is another food that's not being consumed, which makes it much easier to find that equilibrium. So especially when you have something like fish or meat, low quantities, this is the way to go. There really is no such thing as like the perfect food item outside of veggies and apples. Veggies and apples, 100%, because they're stupid easy to scale and they require just a few families. But outside of that, everything else is near equal. Like, I would say it's like veggies, apples, fish, berries, and then everything else. But I will say that eggs are highly underestimated, because if you create a single burgage plot, right, with one family, you never upgrade it to tier 3, well, that one egg is going to feed that entire family indefinitely. So you could, in theory, have a town with all eggs, single burgage plots, and you don't need any other food item unless you want to provide food variety bonuses, which you typically do. I'm just saying it's pretty amazing. What you could do too is just have veggies and eggs and have tier 2 houses in a trade town. But egg backyard extensions make it so that you don't have to like think too much. But And another reason, too, is that if you do veggies and eggs, you don't have to spend a point on orchardry or anything else. You don't need to worry about pawn keeping, blah, 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 blah. And you also don't have to worry about those families being unproductive, right? Because it's really, really passive. Eggs are actually really cool when used appropriately. But you need to understand, everything's going to be specific to what you're trying to do, right? So, just an FYI, eggs are really, really good. So, don't discount something just simply because people are saying that they suck. Man, look at that. We're doing great. Alright, so planks. We're going to stop exporting planks. I think firewood's still good to continue to sell. Eventually we might start selling shoes. We're in great shape. We just need to keep growing out. We need to hit over 75 percentile over here. I need to make sure that everybody's okay. We're going to turn the bloomery off, and we're going to turn the smithy off for now. And the stone cutter can now just be completely destroyed. You can see our rich deposit is gone. That's why I was saying it's the worst rich deposit in the game. Because it's just gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. But that's going to change with the next patch. There's going to be a stone quarry. Alright, let them eggs flow. Look at all them beautiful eggs. Now, we need to kind of hold off on upgrading to tier 2 until we get ale production going. So that's going to be important. Let's pop up here to our beautiful burgage plot level 2 and just immediately do a brewery extension on that bad boy. And then the next thing we need to do is get the malt house up. So let's get a malt house up right here. And I think we almost have room for a second malt house, but that's probably very unnecessary. We got the granary up here that is going to house all the malt and all that jazz. That's beautiful. We're going to put, yeah, let's do a market stall and put one family there. Put one family into the windmill. Put one family in the baker. I like to do these guys first just to kind of get an idea of where I'm at. And then, yep, let's just start filling families. First year is going to suck, but we'll just keep growing. We're going to throw everything we got now at this. Oh, that's beautiful. 100% all around. Love it. Now, we're probably better off just building another saw pit, to be honest. It's still not working, in my opinion, the way it's intended. Let's get 2 saw pits up. Trading post is doing lovely. Let's get that second horse. Oh, yeah. The warbow sales are generating massive profits for us. That's helping us also generate the taxes that we need. Now, we need to be careful, because once he takes every territory, he's going to attack us. So we have a little bit of time, but we do need to continue to build our army. So the next thing I need to do is get a blacksmith and a joiner's workshop. So we are actually going to need, I'm going to say 2 more artisan buildings. So let's get 2 more up now for the future hall. Perfect. This is beautiful. I'm going to do a split road here. I'm going to do something kind of like a little zigzag there. I like it. It's kind of funny seeing them get all weird too. I don't know. Beautiful. We will upgrade these burgage plots though. Want to get that increased pantry size. Okay. One family there. One family there. We're just going to start peppering the families in. Now, you don't want the people doing apples to be working the farmhouse or you'll have issues. So we'll go through and clean that up in a bit. Alright, look at that. Mining pit's up over here. I'm actually going to put one person in the clay mining pit. We need to start upgrading. And we'll wait for the next family to help start building. But we also definitely want to get up a clay furnace over here. And I think the large storehouse over here is fantastic. But we are going to start hoarding a lot of materials here pretty soon. I'm going to put up another storehouse over here just in case we need more resources. And let's order another ox. Also put up a couple more hitching posts. And I'm going to put the hitching post up in this area to help move stuff. This is a good little lumber area that we got going on here. And our chicken coop houses over here are doing pretty darn good. Alright, we got one person in there. Got one person in there doing veggie apples. This is beautiful. This person's not going to have anybody. They're going to be dedicated to eggs. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to put this person in now. Hopefully they'll gather eggs, and the eggs will still go to the market stalls, and the eggs will still be consumed from the large granary. It's just those families won't be contributing to any market stalls. Then I'm thinking honey is probably going to go into this area here. We'll have a centralized granary that's just focused on moving honey. Now with honey, you need to move the honey out as soon as it's produced so that honeycombs can generate. The tooltip is wrong. It's not 2 apiaries. It's the maximum of 2 honey can be produced a day. And you need a good logistics chain in about 12 to 14 to hit a production of 2 honey per day. So you can produce up to 700 a year. It's really going to depend upon your logistics and how fast you're moving that honey. So I'll show you guys how to do a really, really optimal setup to reduce how many apiaries you need to hit your potential. I can get, honestly, at 12, I can get about probably like 300-ish is what I'm averaging. There's a lot of factors in play, you know what I mean? Okay. Malt house is there. Brewer's going. We're not going to have any cap on alcohol production. So over here, I'm trying to think. Yeah, this is all good. Yeah, the apples sometimes don't like this setup. So we're actually getting a pretty crappy haul here. I'm almost on the fence about destroying these and resetting them. These are some of the worst apples I've ever seen. May have been better off doing something a little different. But that's okay. It's still going to produce quite a bit. Veggie fields are a little bit better. I'm going to destroy just one house to see if I can get this just a little bit better than what we got. A lot of... This is like a whole burgage plot worth of trees not growing. One more family. We're going to need around 8. Actually, no. Some of these are 2. We're going to need around... We're going to need around 10 to 12 families at a minimum to get all these fields. Some of these are 1.5. So you need about 1 family per 0.75 to 1 Morgan. So we're going to need a lot of families over here. Alright, we're going to do these guys one at a time. And slanting them can sometimes really help. If I can get this angled just a little bit here, it will actually help me tilt it. There we go. Like that. I think we'll try a tilted top up there. See if that helps. Now I could do a joiner's workshop down here, but we still don't have spears. I'm gonna need a blacksmith and I'll need a joiner's. So we gotta get these places filled in. Got to get the church upgraded here in a bit. So let's actually start on the bloomery. Not the bloomery, sorry. The clay furnace, just about to get up. Upgrade that church, that will help us out a lot. Going to temporarily turn off taxes. Okay, 1 person, let's start making clay tiles. Let's increase the capacity of this storehouse. Put 1 person in the saw pit here. Need more boards quickly. Okay, well, I think we're actually just going to pull people out of these buildings here. I was hoping to grow a little bit quicker than we did. They're doing the best they can, but yeah, we're not going to get too many yields. We need to get more families. All right, we got 3 families. That's great. I'm going to have those 3 families just start building everything. We have 26 burgage plots. We have 8 available living facilities. Order another ox. All right, let's see if this worked. No idea. And oh god, it did. It actually, yeah, it didn't do too hot. It seems it's just a little too narrow. If it needs to be a little bit bigger. So, I think I'm going to change my mind here and experiment with double burgage plot for this area. And we'll figure what, well, 2 of them. It's just, yeah, it's just not wide enough. A little too thin. So when you do this, maybe use a shrine just to bump it out just a hair. Yeah, it's not going to cut it. Just not going to cut it. Alright. We got our shoes. So we're probably not going to go over 100 burgage plots. Let's put this to 140 just so I don't have to remember anything. Got 3 available. That's actually really good. I want to get these burgage plots filled in here. I'm going to put 1 person in here just to get another market stall up there. We're going to need multiple storehouses to facilitate market stalls. Eventually I'll have more fishermen families too. Alright, so our first objective is going to be to upgrade the small church now. It's going to give us a nice little bonus boost. These tier 2s. Got to get the alcohol production going here relatively soon. We have 2 additional places for people to move. Love it. We need to get these gents upgraded to level 2 ASAP, and then we can start making spear units. There we are. Which one moved in? Aha. Okay. So it looks like clothing supply is the current culprit. So let's put another family and market stall in. See? Yeah, it's clothing. Looks like we have a lack of shoes, but that will catch up relatively shortly. Clothing is not consumed. It's just reserved. So you actually could even import shoes instead of making them. You just need to have as many burgage plots as you have available to get the bonus. That's it. Pretty simple. Pretty silly. That's the way the game works. Okay, yeah, so we have 16 fields at any time. So we're going to need... Yeah, we're going to need 16 families. So we may even need another farmhouse. This is kind of crazy. Okay, so we're going to try... it's unfortunate. I do like to keep consistency, but unfortunately, those apple burgage plots, we're not going to cut it. So 3... Yeah, we'll try 2. Like that. I think that will do a better job. Just not going to produce. So let's see if this works. We're at 76%. So we're going to get 1 family on the 2nd and 1 family on the 16th. For the set, you get, if you're over 50, you get 1 on the 1st, 2nd. And if you're over 75, you get another family on the 15th, 16th of the month. So as long as you can get that thing above 75%, you're awesome. Oh yes, beautiful. I can't wait to see this church get up. This will be grand. Got a lot of good things going here. I'm not really sure what these gents are doing. They're bringing the grain here, but there's no one in the windmill. Okay, I gotta get someone in the windmill, because that's a weird glitch. I didn't... Yeah, just be careful about that. That was actually kind of weird. They're bringing it, then they're like, oh, but no one's here. It's back and forth. It's a good synergy, though. Look how efficient that is. Alright, we'll get 1 dude in there. We'll get 1 person in the oven. Not literally in the oven, but working there. I'm not that cruel. Alright, level 2s. Here we come. Very good. Okay. So let's see what this apple orchard looks like. There we go. Look at that. Look how clean that is. That is a very, very large quantity of apples. That is clean. Starting from here all the way back. That's the way it has to be done. So unfortunately, it's going to take us a little bit longer to get our apples, but it's superbly necessary for my sanity that I am producing a large quantity of apples. And it's, you know, 1 less burgage plot. Let's see. We got fuel and food for 10 months. That's beautiful. Yeah, this is beautiful right there. So yeah, we'll just, this is basically a course pit and a half. Burgage plots, this is going to be easy as heck for them to harvest. Need them to move those. Perfect. Alright. Having a little bit of issue with this road right here, so just have to remove it real quick. But boom! I actually don't need that road behind here. I'm gonna get rid of it. I don't like it. There we go. Perfection. This is grand. Okay. We'll get those apple orchards up relatively quick. This is what's kind of crazy, is this really is going to be a big city. There's still a lot of houses to put down. Alright, get this wing of chickens over here. Too steep. Oh, don't do that to me, baby. These ones might have to be inefficient, just simply because of the steepness, but let's see if I can get this to work. I can get them to work like that. It's such a weird pattern, though. Alright, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. And we're gonna go the distance here. We're just gonna go all in on crazy. There we go. Oh yeah. Not sure what I'm gonna put here. I think I'm gonna leave this as a park. A little middle ground park. I think that looks kind of cool. This granary here is responsible for all the eggs. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna put anything here. I don't think so. Simply because of the amount of houses. I'm gonna cut that out. Yeah, that's good. If anything, I might use these areas down here for additional, you know, something. Additional something. Okay. We don't have a whole lot of families, but we need a joiner's workshop. And we need a blacksmith. And we just need a ton of houses so these new families can all move in. And I'm going to need a big wad of cash. All them eggs. Okay. You get an egg. Oh boy. A lot of eggs. I actually may need multiple taverns for this build. See. Yeah, we have 22 eggs right now, and that's about to jump up. We got some apples coming in. Yeah. Look at that. Apples. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. What? No! Okay, there we go. It spawned in. I was about to lose my mind. I just want my luscious apples. Okay, let's extend the living space. Make sure all this holds true, right? There we are. Ban both of those. Oh yeah, look at them go. Bringing in my veggies. Continue our chicken empire here. This is going to be quite a bit of eggs. It's going to be amazing. Ah, crap. Alright, we're getting attacked. That's always fun. It's amazing, actually, how much we accomplished before the raid. I'm not too afraid. We have a pretty good-sized army. Need to figure out where they're coming from. So we got 4 groups of people coming at us. Right. We're going to use the pond. The pond is a really good place to intercept. Fine. I'm actually going to disband these gents. And we're going to hire until we have... There we go. That works for me. Another thing we need to do is make it so we can get our full retinue. And we'll probably start making crossbows here in a moment. We got 4 people cold just because it glitches out sometimes. Let's get hitching posts. Let's order 1 more ox. Fuel is starting to become quite an issue. We're going to need 3 people in the woodcutter's lodge. I imagine we're going to need to be pretty smart here in a bit and have some pretty further points away for firewood. Oh, good God. Here they come. Stand your ground, absorb charge damage. Alright, we're in good shape. We are in good shape. Here we go. Time to start slaughtering. Shooting right through the house. Screw the peasants that are inside, right? As long as no ox jumps in front of us, I think we're going to be okay. But people can actually get hit, so gotta be careful. Now the goal here is just to have all of these guys engage our melee and then take our range from behind. So we just need to hold out. We are going to do shoot at will. Oh yeah, we're cutting them up now. Okay, we're good to go now. Get those behind shots. Alright, one of them ran away. Alright, we're going to push forward now since it's one-on-one. And we're just going to start eating them up from behind right here. This is a beautiful day. Come on, my guys. Kill, kill, kill. Beautiful. Alright. Down. Looks like we lost one of our gents, but that's okay. There we go. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. We're good to go. Now we have a lot of bodies to bury. Guess we'll have to get a corpse pit up. It's a good location for a corpse pit, right in the middle of the battlefield. Very good. The bodies will disappear like in about a period of a year, though, if you just let them sit. Not a big deal. Alright. And we want to make sure that we're setting quotas on everything. So 40 large shields, otherwise we'll eat straight through all of our resources. Blacksmith, he's going to produce 40 spears. The bloomery is going to bloom. Okay, that will give us what we need. And we're just going to import raw ore up to a certain threshold. We don't need to buy the trade route for it, not necessary. We have 209 right now. We just want to make sure that at any given time we have 30. That's fine. Beautiful. All right, the great chickening is going to commence down here. It's a lot of chickens. Oh yes, we have a lot of beautiful people moving into our society now. More chickens! Wonderful. Okay, we got a lot going on over here. A lot of chickens. I don't know if one dude's gonna cut it, but whatever. We're gonna need to put 2 people into this guy now. We're at 100%, so that's good. Clothing's at 67. Clothing's gonna be the big one, because you just have to build up to the point that you can sustain your current population, and that's just gonna happen naturally over time. We're gonna put 1 more person in the trade post. I'm also gonna place 1 more gent into the large storehouse, get another thing up. Alright. Now we're cooking. Once we get a full spear, we're gonna switch over to crossbow units only. Alright, look at that. Get them apples up. And let's expand that living space. Let's start upgrading these to tier 2s. Okay. So now we just need to continue to add families. We're doing pretty decent over here. The tavern needs to go up, and the malt house needs to go up. This can do 50 burgage plots, so that's going to be a problem. Wondering if I should move the malt house, put another tavern there. Put the malt house right here, literally. We're going to do that. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to put another tavern right here. That will give us 100 burgage plots. Nice, we have firewood here now, so people don't have to travel all the way down there to get firewood. 1 dude collecting all the eggs. This is beautiful. Everything's running pretty darn good. 36, okay, we're good. I'm gonna let the joiner just keep going until we have 30. Maybe even 20, to be honest. It's good. It's unfortunate because he's kind of a lost cause at this point. The blacksmith's gonna start making iron parts until he has 40. We're going to take a hit because we're not going to be selling bows anymore. We're going to be making crossbow units, and we're going to cap that at 40. And we're going to recruit our very first crossbow unit. Going to retire 1 bow unit. Go. That is so many chickens. It's amazing. All right. Yeah, a little bit of a hit, but it's all going to come back pretty quick. All right, let's pump these logging camps down to some healthier numbers. They're a little oversupplied, it looks like. There's 7. And let's get a little bit more focused up here. Get at least 2 families. Yeah, we're gonna want like 1. It's gonna be kind of crazy. We're gonna want way more people in this. Let's start getting 3 families per. Start getting our full harvest. We have 16 available living facilities. All right. I get 1 more small tavern up right here. Get that malt house back up. Put a gent in there. Alright, we're starting to build up pretty quick here. This is beautiful. Our army's growing. Farmers are growing. This is fantastic. It's an insane amount of chickens. I will say that. Once people actually move in there too, we'll start generating. Okay, so this is a problem. Fuel is becoming quite an issue. So we're gonna need to think. Okay. Pretty far away from the base. Okay. We have a dude over here who can collect firewood. This is gonna be a little inefficient, but we're gonna put a firewood cutter over here. Also gonna need a forester. But we gotta do something pretty quick. Coal actually might be a good move, but yeah, charcoal actually not. Charcoal would be a pretty good move for a big city of this size, but I think I can get away with it. We're gonna try. I'm not selling firewood anymore, am I? Maybe I'm still selling firewood, and that's... Yeah, I think I... You come over to trade post to check. Yes, we are. Derp. Okay, let's stop doing that. Alright, vegetables can now be exported. Anything over, I'm gonna say anything over 450. We're gonna buy a trade route for that. That's something that, honey, we're gonna start selling like crazy. There we go. I think we're in good shape now. Got 2 ale, that's good. Get that happiness up. Alright, the families are coming. Let's keep pumping them up. I'm assuming he's going to come for me next. He's about to take the last territory there. At 19 out of 36. Let's keep pumping out crossbowmen. Does actually look like we can bump up the fisher. And so, yeah, next is going to be sheep and meat. We got this whole area over here for meat producers. Going to help out quite a bit. Oh yeah, 166 eggs. Beautiful. Once the apples... I mean, we're going to produce more food than we absolutely need to, which is going to be funny. We're going to be throwing food on the floor with this build. But that's what's fun about these builds is... You can kind of show how easy food is in this game. And there's pretty much every food item in the game, when used appropriately, can be very valuable. Okay, a few more families that we can put into the farmhouses here. I mean, we're getting close. There's, yeah, here's 16 families. That's great. Let's see if that's enough, and we can keep adding, but that's a really good start. One more person in the granary over here. Once the alcohol production gets going, we're going to start expanding pretty quickly. They stole my boats! No! I need to go out there and kill them. Nobody steals my boats. There's 2 camps. Okay. I don't want to take the men away from work is the thing. I'm trying to build up. We're going to put 1 person in the woodcutter over here. Define his area so he doesn't go down there and start cutting the animal spawns. Definitely upgrade this tavern. Oh, look at that. 100% entertainment. Beautiful. We're golden now. Okay. Well, it's time to go crazy. We're going to upgrade these guys to tier 3 first. Get more families out on here. We're going to need to start importing clay. Go to our trade post. Let's start importing clay. Yeah, 40 is a good one right there. Oh, yes. We forgot all about these gents. All right. That's a couple workers I can get back. There we go. 2 more workers back. Gonna go check out these gents. I think they're gonna need a little bit more. Yeah, these are 1.5. I think we're gonna need probably about 20 or more families here. Let's fill out the center guys first, I think. 4 more families. That is a lot to do. That is a lot to do. Oh my god. No, this... Okay, so what do we got? We got 1.5s and 2s here. We got 16 of them. We're gonna need... Probably... I think we're probably gonna have to do the whole dang thing. Like, 24 to 32 families. Just a lot. Okay. Let's go crazy now. Let's start doing tier 2s. Get that passive income just rolling in. These will be the most immaculate chicken houses ever. Alright, look at that. Another point. We're gonna do advanced skinning for sure. And then after this, we're gonna do sheep breeding and then honey. Or potentially even honey and then sheep breeding. We could technically probably skip sheep breeding. I do have a guide on that on my channel if you're interested. That would give me another point that I could put into charcoal. Just because, while sheep breeding is really, really good, the meat that we're going to be producing right now is going to be pretty stupid. It's going to be a lot. I wonder if the pantry's getting full. We might need to build another fishing hut. That's what happens typically, is your pantry gets full. Let's build 1 more. Gotta get that passive money. Alright, we got 2 sawmills, so hopefully we can get a little faster here. Let's get another ox. Saw pits. Alright, let's assign another ox to this gent. Okay, so this guy's going strong. We got 1 person here. Gonna clear cut the whole area there, didn't we? Put 2 people over there. I believe we're gonna get attacked here relatively soon, so we'll just keep going. Alright, we're gonna need another granary worker. Got 2 there. Yeah, let's do 3 down here. This is looking pretty sharp, actually. Not a bad looking town. Okay. Got the second hut up. Let's pull one guy out. Put him in there. See if that helps out. Also get the second granary up over here. Face it down. Or we can face it up. It don't matter. Actually, sorry. We should be facing it up. Face them up. We are. Alright, they're all doing a grand job. Oh, yeah, look at those beautiful fields. Those are beautiful apple fields. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do coal, unfortunately, in this build. Too big. The food is really starting to pile in, though. I don't think we're getting our full yields here. Not even close. Alright, we're going to max these babies out. Alright, let's get everybody up to 6 families. There we are. It's just like a wall of food production. That's actually really awesome. Oh my god. I think I've outdone myself this time. The population on this is going to be pretty much close to, I think, 700 or 800. Yeah, clothing is going to be the big bottleneck. I'm going to need a lot of leather. Thinking what I'll do. I could use some goats. You could also just let it naturally happen. Just kind of casually glide into it. Oh shit. I just realized we don't have a limit on these gens. Yeah, we're just importing clay infinitely. Okay, 100. We're making a lot of money from the passive wealth generation of all these families, though, so that's pretty cool. This area down here, our industry sector, is just so freaking busy. It's crazy. I think I'm going to put 1 and 1 over here. Hopefully they fixed it and they don't compete, but... Yeah, we're at 55 burgage plots, so we're going to need multiples. An overstock. And a pop. I'm going to need just a little bit more booze. Alright, we're going to start pulling in more alcohol here shortly. I just need to start upgrading everybody I can. These houses are much nicer looking. Alright, 4 free families. Beautiful. We'll max out the 2 on the inside. I think a 24 family should do it. Maybe need 1 more. Yeah, there we go. Look at them go. Like ants. It's a lot of people in the fields. But it's looking great. This is what it's all about. I actually really like the tree line, too, around it all. Now, one thing you actually could do is set up a trade route to just pull in the boots, right? Or pull in the hides. We can import hides to speed everything up. And we can do that relatively cheap. So let's actually do this. Let's import so that we always have... well... Wish I could just set a one-time buy order, too. That's a feature that'd be really nice. Oh boy, my royal taxes are increasing now. This will be a problem. So we need to start taxing. Even if it's just a little bit. 4%. Yeah, we'll do 4%. Need to have enough money to hire mercenaries. We need to just continue to work on our army. Alright. Crossbows, here we come. Gonna get rid of the bow unit now. Got 3 crossbows. We should probably get 1 more spear unit up. Looking sharp. We're doing pretty decent. I think we're going to switch to spear production just for a second here. There we go. Let's just get those spearmen. We're still bringing in a lot of money, which is quite astonishing, really. And we just sold our last big thing of war bows. More ox. Alright, we're going to make it so the alcohol can't be held in granaries, because I think it's slowing things down. We just need to be really careful. There we go. Now it's moving along. I think we also need to double the amount of families in the brewer. Get a bunch of people. It has pretty crap returns, like 2 brewers is gonna, even though they have the same amount of families, typically produces more alcohol. They haven't really perfected the multi-family burgage plots. That sucks. Alright. Yeah, so one day we're gonna have a big old thing of apples coming in. It's gonna be beautiful. Well, look at that. Okay. Now we can max out our farms. Hopefully that's enough. Doesn't feel like it. This kind of sucks. We kind of need another central location. I think we're going to need 5 of these. Or we need to go into heavy plow. Yeah. Yeah. And then we're going to skip sheep. And we're going to go into the heavy plow. It just seems like the logical choice, to be honest. It's just too freaking big. Only concern I have is these things are really large fields, so I don't know, actually, if that would work. Would take too long, potentially. I'll have to think about that. To be fair, I can always just throw more families at it. The one nice thing is you don't have to worry about... Because only one ox can be on at a time, but with the families, anybody can do it. Yeah, I think we'll just go with it. Get a whole new farmhouse up to help out. We're getting real close right now, as you can see. We just need, looks like 6 more spears. No more available living spaces. Get the first ring of meat houses up now. Not enough goods. There we go. Meat away. This granary over here, all it's going to do is meat. Got apples finally coming in. Got freaking godly amounts of eggs. Meat. Got booze here, even though I told him not to store the booze there. And it looks like we do have the ale glitch going on. Sometimes when you build too close together, they will bring it from one to the other, and it just keeps going on infinitely, but I'm hoping that's not the case. Sometimes restarting helps, sometimes deleting the granary that caused the glitch works, but it's not fluctuating here. A good sign. I think we're probably even going to want another brewer. So I'm going to see if I can fit another brewer in the back here. Oh yeah, we're going to do another brewer right there. We get that booze flowing. Keep a fuel stockpile here too to keep things flowing. Actually turn this into a brewer right here in the corner. Wouldn't be a bad one. Like we're having a board issue. Wood is becoming an issue. Okay. Get some people going. This whole area is freaking crap. I gotta pull out of here. Keep it going there. We're gonna need a new logging area. I think up here is a good spot. Put a couple things up over here. Get some hitching posts. Get a forester. There we go. Let's get a new operation going. And we need to start filling these guys in. Need to be ready for the attack. 36, 36, 36. Beautiful. Last unit of crossbows. We are golden. Okay. Now that we have all the spear units, that's really beautiful. We're going to switch back to... now keep on the war bows. And switch back to iron parts. We're in good shape. Okay, we got 10 more families. Throwing them all into this farmhouse. Let's get out there and get some work done. We just need so many people on these fields. I think actually what we're going to do too is this would be a pretty nice area over here for another operation. Probably woodcutters though. Just get that up. There we go. Alright. Yeah, now we're getting some good yields. There we go. We need to be able to seed all this stuff. Yeah, because over here we're going to need another farmhouse. This is just... I'm just going to throw a bunch of numbers at this. I don't think this is going to work over here. We're going to get rid of this. Leave it as is. I'm going to move operations over here. Alright, we need more. Granary worker there. Nothing there. This guy's just going to do meat. Granary worker there. We need to probably do 2 dudes down here. More stalls up. Doing great. You're all level 2s. All level 2s. And we do actually need to be careful, because if I go over 100 burgage plots, things are going to get weird. And, gonna get difficult. 6, 10. See, this is a problem. I think we're gonna be, like, just on the cusp of 100. Alright, we got raiders coming. They are not gonna live. Yeah. We're a little big now. We could take the Lord with this army. We got weapons, man. We've got weapons. This is not even gonna be a fight. Alright, here they come. Let's see what happens here. Alright. Once they come into range, this is game over for them. That's 4 crossbowmen about to annihilate them. Here they are. You can hear it. There we go. That's gonna hurt. Alright, 1 down. One down again. Do it. There we are. That's a lot of influence. Disband. Alright, well at least we have the corpse pit up. Let's get one dude in there. Start burying the dead. Alright, we got a lot of people. I think, yeah, we're not getting full yields. We're not getting, you can see we almost got it. So, we're going to need a couple more families helping out. We're getting close. We're getting real close. Oh, nice. We can upgrade this, get the next brewer up. Oh, look at that, we're at 100%. That's beautiful. Yeah, we need a lot of stuff right now. Alright, so all this is going to store up here is firewood. Don't want anything else stored up here. Upgrade it. No market stall. Put a dude up here. I'm going to pull both of these guys back because this area is just gutted. Do that. Order an ox. We're in good shape. Got good roads, good networking systems. Feel like this is a missed opportunity. There we go. Crossroads. Beautiful. Alright. I think we're sitting where we need to sit. Got 5 crossbows, 9 spears, blah, blah, blah. Joiner's workshop. Doing great. We need to go back to selling bows for a time. We're going to do that. Now will help us. We'll stop importing. Very good. We're completely self-sufficient. The eggs is probably ridiculous. 283. Yes. Fish are doing well. The apples are going to start coming in. The bread is likely going to start coming in after this next harvest finally. Oh yeah, look at that. We actually got some over here. Not enough. Put 2 families in. We have 4 more places people can move in, so that hurts. We haven't done the meat yet. Alright, another royal tax increase, but I think we're doing just fine. And we're going to keep continuing to increase the farmhouse. There's a little bit more than I realized. We just need a bunch of ants out there. That's fine. We're going to be doubling our population, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all those people anyway. That's what's kind of funny about these kind of builds, but we're definitely producing just an absurd amount of everything. I'm going to preemptively put 1 person into this granary here for the meat. We haven't started on the meat yet. We need to continue up. Yeah, crap. We need more clothing styles. 76. Cool. Let's put 1 more individual into the large storehouse. I think a lot of it's just going to be catching up with all the shoes and everything we need, but it does look like we're actually hitting some of our limits. We have 0 people who can move in, so that needs to be resolved. All right. I'm going to have to pull 2 people out, unfortunately. Okay. We're going to need to set a new timber reserve. We're burning through it all in the saw pits. We're going to set a timber reserve of 25. It's going to kind of hurt, but it's okay. Let's get another family out here cutting. Need to keep cutting. Okay, and this family can now become a brewmaster. Let's do it. We have kind of an absurd amount of everything. We have malt. It's going to be a lot more malt coming in once fields go up. There we are. Oh, boom. We're just going to pull a couple more families out to help build. Then we'll have more people who can move in. But this is beautiful. These granaries are doing a great job. But yeah, centralized location for all gathering of eggs. Wonderful. Probably need another individual in here. I'm not noticing though. I mean, really too bad. A little bit of eggs. Yeah, they actually have terrible spoilage rates inside of these houses. So we're going to get another family helping. The biggest spoilage rate is in pantries. So you want to get stuff out of pantries as fast as possible. These gents are doing great. Let's see. Are these pantries full? Nope. Okay, so these pantries are empty. Just make sure the pantries are empty. Most important thing. And yeah, we're going to get 8 meat per year because we have the perk for double. So you get, if you don't have advanced skinning, you get 4 meat per year from the piggies. But you get 8 with it. It's pretty tight. There we go. The burgage plots are popping up. I say we keep going. I say we get them all up. We just want to make sure that we're not hitting 100 plots. So that is honestly the cap that we want. 81 constructed. So we have 88. Oof, we're getting close. If we could hit that perfect 100, it's going to be so beautiful. Yeah, this actually is going to be, we're just right there. So that's going to be 6. That's going to be another 6, right? So what do we got? We have 94. Oh man, there we go. That's 6 more on the dot. 6 more on the dot. That is beautiful. That's so awesome. This is exactly 100. It's awesome. Literally perfect. I love it when things just come together without planning. Dang, we still have 504 stone. Beautiful. Honestly, I could probably just put another large granary. Probably do the honey right in here. This is kind of a cool little honey spot. See how much food we got. We got bread coming in now, eggs, got apples, the veggies. The meat's really going to start pouring in once we get these bad boys up. Got 0 planks. Okay, there it is. The glorious 6. 92 constructed and 8 under construction. Perfect. 100 burgage plots. Beautiful. Now we just need to make sure that nobody freezes to death. Food comes in. Alright, we got 4 families. Alright, let's start pumping these guys up. We're going to be getting out our meat sector, and we're going to be finalizing the design. There's quite a bit to do, so let's get started. Now, one of the first things we need to do is start upgrading every single one of these houses with an animal pen. We're going to need a substantial amount of boards. Now, we're also using a lot of boards for bow production and other things, so I think we're actually going to get a 3rd saw pit up. We're going to need more timber. We're going to have to deforest quite a bit to do so. But that's alright. Let's get ourselves a saw pit right there, and let's look at places we can put additional logging camps. So we have a few logging camps over here. And I think actually what we're going to do is we're just going to increase the work and families up to 6 in this area. Let's put a person in the forester immediately, because this is going to hurt. But you know what? In the long run, it's going to be glorious. So let's keep going. And over here, we started our woodcutter's lodge not too long ago. So let's place an individual in there. Let's actually set a work limit area. And let's do it right there. Let's make sure that this large storehouse has a person coming into it. And is only set for firewood. Perfect. So we have 23 available living facilities. We have not upgraded everything to tier 3, which we are going to do in this video. So we're going to have quite a substantial population. Everything is very, very good right now. So this is awesome. They're moving around like ants. It's beautiful. We also need to be a little concerned right now because the Lord will attack us pretty darn soon. And luckily, we were able to build a sizable army up. He's going to have one hell of a time. So let's make sure that we have a full retinue. And let's also start upgrading just a tad bit. I like to keep around, 350-ish. Make sure I can hire a couple mercenaries. So we're just going to do 2 right now. And we want to maintain a 75% or higher approval rating so we can get 2 families per month moving in. We are, of course, a little strapped on cash, so we are crafting bows once more for trade. That is consuming quite a bit of the boards. Let's order 1 more ox. The large storehouse could definitely use more people. So right now, we're just going to pump all that up. Pop up here to check the marketplace. It does look like we're going to need to add a couple more granaries, granary workers. And we're primarily using these folks over here for that. So let's pop in 2 more. And then we're just going to speed the game up here momentarily. Let's look. So they have taken every region, which means the attack is imminent. They will be attacking here very shortly. But the village is strong, and I think we're going to defeat anything that comes at us. Oh no, I forgot about the taxes. Yes, the taxes are coming in. We're going to need to probably tax our people a little bit more. We're at 82%. I need to get that happiness rating up so I can tax them more and maintain 75%. I'm really liking the logistics of this build, I'm not going to lie. It's very clean. You can see everyone moving around. It's just really well organized. I'm actually kind of surprised. I wasn't sure how well this was going to do, but it's doing very proper. We're going to bump up the taxes here to 6%. Let's maybe do 7%. Yeah, 7%, -4. Perfect. We need just a little bit more money flowing in. Now let's take a peek at the trade post. See what's going on here. Yes, the boards are kind of hurting our economy. We're not pulling in enough boards to keep up with the mass production to get the sales that we need. So I think what I'm going to do, just momentarily, I was thinking about pulling some people back out of farming. That's not going to work because we're about to go into, take a peek at June. Oh, no, we're good. We can pull some people out. All right, we're going to pull a whole farmhouse out. Actually, there we go. Yeah, we're going to pull some people. I'll get 2 people building. We'll boot that down to 4. We have enough. I think we actually have enough farmers to take care of everything. We'll come back up there and remedy that situation here in a bit. But we need to get everybody going. All right, so the bloomery is going strong. Probably don't even need that person. Let's get this saw pit up. There we go. And remember, I always assign a permanent ox to the saw pits. Just makes it go a lot faster. There we go. Now everybody's happy again. Get that person in the saw pit. Permanently assign an ox. This sector down here is doing very well. Pretty awesome seeing the skyline. All the things in the back. Ooh, the brewer is full. Means we may need to get another granary worker up here. Let's do it. Pop 1 more in. Two families up there helping to move stuff. That one doesn't hold booze, though. So, that's right. We made it so nobody held booze. That way it's all just going into a large tavern. I'm okay with that. Both of these gents are full. Let's increase the overstock on this to 20. So, the demand right now is 83. So, you can just cheese it by saying overstock on both. It looks like this is the primary one. So it's always full, but we're just going to tell them to fill these things to the brim. So there's always 100 in there. This is kind of a danger of the system we're using because if I want to sell ale, I am going to have to store it somewhere. So this is a hard decision. But we are going to be producing like 400 ale, and I do want to sell it. So I'm going to turn ale back as a storable item in that large granary up here. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, we're back to our 100s. It looks like we're waiting on more shoes to be made. And let's go make sure. I remember at the beginning of the episode, I did put a pretty sizable limit. 140, perfect. Put that to 150. Now we only need 100. And it looks like this place doesn't have anything coming in. And we'll get 8 meat per burgage plot per year. We'll get 4 meat every 150 days. If you round it, it's actually kind of like 8.33 or whatever. You're going to have 1 year where you get 9. It's kind of weird the way that they did the calendar in this game. All right, we really got that board production going now. This is beautiful. Look at that. I don't even want to look at the forest. I'm pretty sure we've probably clear-cut the entire forest now. There we go. That's that side, all with pens. Now we're going to do this side. And we have 93 planks. That's beautiful. Our economy is going to start flourishing once more. And unfortunately, we didn't get a backyard extension on this one. That's okay. We'll just skip it. All right. Yeah, look at those beautiful apple fields, man. Those are going to be pulling in so many apples. Going to be crazy. Okay. So here we go. We're going to bring in all the babes. Get them pigs in. Now this is going to be a little expensive. It's 20 a pop. So we'll go line by line. Make sure everybody's happy here. Alright, second row done. We definitely want to start upgrading all of our houses next. Dang, we got 6 free families right now. And it looks like this house is almost done. Here we go. Order the babe. Alright, so this whole row down here all has pigs in it. That's pretty crazy. We're a little out of money, so we'll wait till we build up a little bit more wealth. Do the other side. That you have no idea how much meat this is. This is absurd. We should definitely try to get salt or import salt from like a region like down here, because it's just the amount of sausage that we could produce is pretty substantial. But yeah, that's very, very silly. We don't need sausage though. That's the thing. This whole build is very broken. All right, I'm gonna put one person into the church to bury the dead. Brewer's looking very good down there. So we got 2 breweries now. We got one there and one there. Making large quantities of alcohol. Let's check it out. Pantry size of 50-50. Very good. Now, are we having any issues? It says 40. We do not want to store alcohol in the pantry, though, because like I told you, spoilage is very, very high in the pantries. That's like one bad thing about a setup like this. Granaries are preferred, but they're very glitchy right now, which is why people don't like to use it. Alright, 231 eggs. Alright, we got 1 apple over there. Got veggies, apples here. We got 1 dude collecting meat. What's cool about meat, so eggs have to be collected every month, right? That's kind of the downfall to eggs. But meat is every 150 days. So it's like, like halfway through the year, you got to collect an insane amount of meat. But we have our granary of equal distance to everything except for maybe these gents over here. So this is a pretty good setup. They should be able to do this pretty fluidly. We're going to want another family in here. And we're going to want at least, 2 families doing eggs. So 2 families, I think, is going to be more than enough for all of this. And we're probably going to want to get a few more market stalls. Yes, granary capacity is there. Let's do 1 here and 1 here. And that's all she wrote. And then let's do 1 more up here to help with all the movement of these crops and everything up here. And let's put those families back in. I'm going to keep 2 unassigned families to help guide ox and all that kind of jazz. We're doing pretty darn good. And I believe the Lord is going to attack us here really, really soon. I could feel it in my bones. All right, yeah, we cleaned out quite a bit over here. But we're actually doing very well still. And yeah, with everything that we've done, it's going to be bringing in quite a bit of meat. So our next goal is either charcoal. We may not need to do charcoal, though. It does seem like we found an equilibrium here where we're able to bring in enough firewood. And you can see people are coming up here to get firewood, which is an inefficiency in the design, but we're going to allow it. It's only 1 person that has to do it. It's a little annoying, but sometimes you just have to accept those things. All right, we're going to boot that back out to 4. Okay, so we got a good thing going here. We have a bunch of available living spaces, and now it's time to go crazy. So we're going to start upgrading everybody we can. And honestly, we should actually start with the furthest houses first. The tier 3s and all that, just simply because it gets harder to do those. So let's start with the bottom rung of society over here. And we'll do this whole area over here. Right, and we're just out of money now. That's tier 3. Okay, so big old chunk of houses to tier... Yeah, it's a lot of wood. 2 wood, 8 boards. So you're going to need quite an impressive wood empire. That's what's cool about building and expanding is you can just, have a bunch of saw pits and then get rid of them when you're done. Our economy is mostly bow and arrow right now. Or just the bows, I should say. War bows. We're not selling anything else. Okay. We're going to boot this down to 30. Since we're... Actually, no. Let's boot this down to 20 since we're not even using them. And shoes, we're at 126. That's beautiful. We could, in theory, start selling shoes. But problems do arise when you do that. You don't have enough leather coming in, which I don't think that we do. So we have 100 iron slabs, which is our quota. We have 1,135 firewood. Very, very good. We have 0 leather that we can trade. Let me kind of see what's going on here. Veggies, anything over 450. Bread, yeah, look, ooh, look at that. We are banging. Look at that. A lot of food. All right. So we got 2 families here. We need, I think, 4 families for this to work appropriately. And our fish quota at 530. I think you can actually bring this down to about 450, and you're going to be good because you're not going to be able to fish everything in the 3 seasons that it grows. So we're going to bring that down to 4. We can get a little bit more fish. All right, we're in good shape. Got a lot of chickens over here. And yep. So now we're... Oop! We got all the babes. Forgot all about the babes. So right now, regional wealth is kind of what's holding us back in a lot of ways. So... let's just upgrade these houses for that passive wealth. Every single house we upgrade is, you know, 1 silver per month. It's quite a bit. Adds up. We have 636 barley, which is insane. I feel like alcohol is definitely going to be the next thing that we start selling. And we're going to sell anything over 200. I'll need to buy a trade route for this, but I have a feeling that we're going to be producing quite a bit. Let's look at the malt house. The malt house is doing great. We're going to pump that up to 2 folk. I think that this granary needs more people. Almost want to pull the market stall setup out of it. 375 barley with a very large... and we may need another malt house to keep up with everything. Never needed more than like 1 usually, but question is, where do you put it? Oh, here we go, right in between all this jazz. Perfect. All right, we'll get another malt house up over there. Beautiful. All right, bunch of money. Let's get our babes up first. Get this up to tier 3 over there. Very good. Very important to get these farms upgraded so their pantries are large enough to hold everything being farmed. Almost got all the piggies in here. Alright, we're just out of boards once more, but we have got it going on. We got all the piggies now. I don't even want to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my god. So it's about 42 burgages plus 2 more. So 44 burgage plots times 8. About 352 meat per year right there. And it's going to come in every 6 months. It's actually got to be more than that. Yeah, no, that's about right. About right. Actually, one of these doesn't have it. So yeah, give or take around 350 meat. Which a sheep setup is actually a little bit better than this. So that's actually kind of funny. All right, we got the point. We're gonna go into honey next. We're gonna have a bunch of people. So honey, I think we're gonna get rid of the corpse pit. There's a few places we could put the honey. Now honey is gonna work completely different when the patch is out. But the key to honey is making sure that you're getting completed honey out so that the other combs can spawn. Because they can't spawn when there's completed honey. So the key is just being able to move the goods out as fast as possible. So we're going to pause real quick. Alright, we got a granary right here. And this is going to be the hallmark of the build. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but we should try our best to make it efficient. There we go. Alright, we're getting close. Yes, everything is starting to really build up now. Let's get ourselves another malt house going. Fuel stockpile for sure. Not going to put any kind of cap whatsoever. I'm going to make sure that these brewers are going strong. I'm going to upgrade the brewers to tier 3. Just get more families in there. Okay. Let's keep upgrading everybody to tier 2. Get that like I said, the passive money is what's going to help us out here the most. We're not paying our taxes right now. We're in a bulk up stage, so to speak. Alright, let's see what the problem is here. Timber is the main issue. Just need to let them catch up. There's so much wood out here, though. We're going to be fine. I think we're actually going to get some woodcutters out over here. More areas going. And most importantly, what we need to do is make sure that the road system connected. Okay, cool. I think we're going to make our own little connection right here. Here we go. Make it a little bit faster to get across. Upgrade this granary. Some of these I'm upgrading to level 3 just because I can. There we go. Got more families in the brewer. Very good. Got 452 barley, so I think the main issue right now is processing time. So let's boot this windmill up to 3 folk in it. Get that thing pumping. I think the bread makers, get 2 of them going. Malt house is doing strong. Let's get 2 people in this small house as well. Get it really strong. Yeah, I might as well bump this all out. Alright, we're getting real close to 100%. And once you have all your burgage plots, this is where it really shines. So we have 95 of 100 occupied. So only 5 more will be occupied, putting a strain on our market. So yeah, we're going to be able to easily handle all of this. We're at perfect capacity for storehouses. Fairly sure. Like I said, yeah, I did the math. Everything should be fine here. Got an immense amount of resources, and why are they putting... I'll let them do that. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna pull back these gents over here to 1 and 1. Let this grow out a bit. We're gonna speed these guys up over here, and I'm gonna carpet clean this area next. Okay, so we're gonna need kind of a hub for everything, and I think this is probably the best place to put more of the stuff. I don't want them to be too far out. We're gonna need quite a bit of ox for what we got going on. Pretty big operation. This will be our little crossroad area here. It's beautiful. Yeah, you can see that we're probably going to need more fishing spots, because it's just like the berries. You have to get as many of the fish as possible in the growing season, and if the pantry gets full, you'll have issues. I think we can get 6 families on this thing now. One hunter seems to be doing a great job. Alright, let's continue to at least get level 2 plots. Just really want to get that money. Passive wealth becomes very, very important, as you can see. Okay, we're getting close to being able to sell alcohol. I'm going to establish that trade route. It's a bit of a jaunt for them to move it, but not great. It'll be okay, though. Alright, we got a lot of flour. So we're going to need to pump up a lot of stuff here. They're just not moving things fast enough. Okay, we got to do this. We got to turn off the market stalls here and have them primarily just all focus on moving stuff. I might even have to get another granary up, because this is actually kind of crazy. And we have enough market stalls here. Let's pump that up to 6. Yeah, we're still at 100. Let's just watch this and see if we have any issues, but I think we'll be okay. More houses to tier 2. Oh yes, look at that. Look at them go. Look, they got a late start on that one field. It's weird. We got lots of barley. It seems like the malt's having a little bit of an issue. I'm hoping now that this entire granary is just focused on logistics, that this is going to help out. I believe we're actually going to get another malt house up. Yeah. Alright, in the ovens, we're going to place 2 more families working there. That fed up a bit. I think the windmill's going strong. Yeah, that's beautiful. We're going through all the wheat. We could probably bust that down to 2 families. Looks like we're doing really well there. Beautiful, 220 alcohol. Yeah, alcohol is not a problem in this place. Alright, and then this is just going to be purely honey. And it is not going to have any market stalls. We just want them fully focused on honey. So many houses to upgrade. Let's just make sure everything is at least tier 2. Alright. Time to get these camps up. Get 2 people in each of these camps over here, cutting wood. I'm actually going to pull out of here completely, because it's just not efficient anymore. We'll just keep going to the areas where there's lots of wood. I'm going to put 6 people in total over here. Same thing over here. Just it becomes inefficient after a bit. Let's put 4 people in here. Got 2 horses. Very good. We got alcohol. We got bows. Let's expand the living space in the boyer workshop. Let's get 2 families making bows. Alright. Yeah, we've got some banditos coming in from the south. Banditos are never a problem. Yes, we are definitely ready for them. Got quite the army here. So we're going to make mincemeat out of these gents and then get back to it. They're coming straight at us. Here they come. Oof, there we go. There we go. Melting time. Yeah, volley 2. There we are. Ugh, that's nasty. We're gonna need a couple corpse pits. I think you get a sizable negative whenever they attack. Nice, look at that. 4 available living places. We're gonna have to start doing some level 3s. Get some more people in here. Alright, now we can push. Yeah, they don't stand a chance. Let's speed this up. Let's get these guys all dead. There we go. Beautiful day for us. Alright, let's run these dudes to the center and disband them. The city is coming along very nicely, though. Got 7 free families. We're going to have about, yeah, almost twice as many families here in a second once we start doing tier 3s. But I just want to get the passive money coming in as fast as possible so we can pay our taxes. Alright, that one's going to be level 3. Got a level 1 house up here. Very good. Got a few more houses people need to move into. Okay, let's put 2 in the malt house. Fuel stockpile 10. There we go. Beautiful day. There we go. You can see the malt's flowing now. Ooh, the malt's actually doing too well now. Great. Alright, so I'm going to bust all these malt houses down to 1. Yeah, 59 malt. That's crazy. You just can't win. 242 ale. My best bet actually may be to come to the trade post here. Let's look at what we're doing here. I don't realistically need 240. Let's bump this down to 160 ale so that we're selling more of our excess. I always do 1 trade post because the trade post system is really buggy in how it works, but I may have to think about this because having a trade post a little bit closer to the ale production would be superbly advantageous. So I'm going to get rid of the circle. And we're going to do a half circle. So now we have this big area here. There we go. Yeah, one advantage to having another trade post is you can get a lot more done. So let's try it out. Let's see if we can remedy our situation with another trade post. Beautiful. In all my testing, one trade post almost always overproduces. But the problem is you need all the things that you're selling to be stored right next to it so they can move it in almost immediately. This is just too far away. We're going to order another horse now so that we have it up here. And we're also going to place some hitching posts around this area. Now, the reason I bump my trade post out is because if you get too close to these walls, the trade caravans can get stuck. So you want to give yourself a good girth on these. Alright, we're at 100% except for fuel and clothing. That's fine. May need another... something weird is going on here. You know what? Let's see. I am going to turn the market stall for that guy on, just to have it. Alright, 95 malt, 482 barley. This is actually pretty intense. Fish are coming in, apples are coming in. Okay, yeah. We're going to want multiple trade... let's see if we can get away with it. Let's see if we can finally figure out how to use multiple trade posts effectively. Alright, boom, boom, boom. 4 families. Pump that up. And now we're in a massive food surplus, which was, you know, by design. Meat's starting to pull in pretty crazy numbers. Apples. We will export anything over 500. We will buy that trade route. You need to buy these trade routes so our people will go out with their horses. So that's good. Bread, same thing. We're going to be mass producing bread at pretty insane scales. I'd say 400, anything over 400, since we're constantly producing it. Okay, we'll leave everything else alone for now. Let's see if we can start making some cash here. So the reason that you don't want to split your trade post is the way that outside foreign buyers work is they will come in and they will buy from one trade post. So if I say I have 42 apples and I have 8 apples at the other trade post, if they go to that other trade post, they only buy the 8 apples. So by condensing it all into one trade post, you're basically ensuring that every foreign trader is going and buying the maximum of that amount. However, if you cannot hold the maximum amount in your trade post because you have logistical issues, that kind of goes out the window. But you can see up here, like, we have 5 war bows, right? So this is the problem with the trade post. And all they need to do is set it up like the granary, where you can specify which trade post holds which goods. It would completely solve all the issues and they wouldn't have to rework any pathfinding if we could just control which trade posts were selling which goods. That's the issue, is that it splits everything up, which reduces the quantity that you're selling over time. But what you have are your people who go out and trade things, but you need like 10 or 12 to equal the foreign traders. You would need an insane amount of trade posts in order to get the same kind of sales that you're getting with one. But the problem we're having is that the distance to transport things is just too vast. So, but we'll try it out, right? We'll try it out. I'm selling more, so arguably I'm going to be making more money. I probably should have just tried selling everything out of one trade post and then done this to test it a little bit better. But, you know, it is what it is. All right, order a horse. Bump that up to a stable. Damn. That granary is getting mighty full. This is a park area. I could always put more granaries there. Check the houses to make sure there isn't meat in the pantries. I think we're in good shape. Oh, we have no more available living spaces. Alright, so we need to start getting all the living spaces possible. We need more people. I don't know why we need more people, but just an unhealthy desire at this point. Okay, and we got our extra point. So we got it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have one more point. So we could go in the sheep breeding. I don't want to do that right now. I'm going to hold off because I think coal might be the future for us. We're also going to sell honey. And we're going to do about 12 apiaries at a minimum. We got 6, 7, 8, 11 there. We'll do 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So that's 17 families. It's one of the worst yields, but like it's pretty sweet. No pun intended. It's when you have the people for it, that's a really good thing to trade because it has barely any it has no spoilage. Zero, like that's next to sausage. It's like no spoilage. As long as it's stored in the granary. Very, very, very small amount. Okay, I'm gonna just have to hope this granary can hold everything, and I don't think it can. So that's fun. I have no idea why pelts and hides are being stored here. Are we importing? Oh, we're importing, that's right. So we always have 10. Yeah, I've been importing hides. We're gonna turn that off. We don't need to do that anymore. But yeah, this honey thing is gonna take a lot of people. So a lot of guides tell you not to do these kind of things because the fact of the matter is the smaller the town, the more economically viable it is, right? If I have less people and I'm producing the same amount of veggies and apples, it means I can sell insanely more veggies and apples and I can make a lot more money. And the more money I'm making, the more tax I'm generating over here. So like large cities are actually like really hard to manage because there's substantial diminishing returns on size. So typically if you have a large city, you want to offset it with a small trade city to make up for all that inefficiency. And because you need more resources, which means you're not selling those resources for money essentially. So kind of sucks, but that's just the way it is. I can't wait to see what they do with the next patches and how they change the game, because I'm sure they're going to make it a lot better than it is right now. But yeah, we're pulling in money. That's all that matters. We got a couple tier 1s over here. Once we get all these guys to tier 3, we're going to get more passive wealth too. Tier 3s generate 1 more additional coin per family, which is pretty substantial. Yeah, boards are going to hold us back. And we're starting to carpet clean this area over here, which is beautiful. I think what we're going to actually end up doing, putting 2 more logging camps out here to hold all the wood so they don't have to travel all the way over. I think we're going to craft a road like such. Give another route that people can take. There we go. Beautiful. And it looks like we're going to need 2 more families in the fisherman hut. I'm just trying to keep up with food of all types. You can see that we're doing quite a good job. And we have enough meat coming in to help out. What the heck? I missed a piggy. That's what happens sometimes. All right, let's keep getting these guys to tier 3. Let's keep more families, right? We need more families. We're going to do the edges first. That house actually looks kind of cool. All right, we're pulling in the cash now. We're going to be able to pay our taxes. And use the only decoration that I have. Make this place look a little nicer, right? 1 shrine. 1 or 2 shrines. There we go. The holy honey. I'm hoping they incorporate mead at some point. Mead would be awesome. And they are getting so much done. The city is really coming along. It's looking pretty awesome. I like the way it rolls over the hills. Very nice. Alright, tier 3 it is. The fuel situation is becoming... yeah, pretty bad. We're definitely going to go into charcoal. We need to. Otherwise, we're going to have issues. And we're going to come over here. We can also sell charcoal. Very good trade item. So we're going to start selling charcoal as well. And I'll get charcoal production down around these parts. Let's get it close to this area right here. Perfect. Okay. We'll have charcoal production right next to our woodcutters area. Trifecta, and then the trade post right there. So we're just going to preemptively start setting this up. Charcoal is a really, probably one of the best trade items in the game. And anything over 100, we are going to sell them. I'm going to buy the route immediately. And it looks like we're having an alcohol problem. What's going on? 63, 65. All right, we need to get a couple more families in here moving the booze in, looks like. Yeah, overstock won't work anymore because we're at 100 plots perfectly. This is why you want to upgrade your furthest points first, because you start getting issues. So if we do upgrade, we're going to want to do these houses on the edge first. All right, we're going to turn the overstock mechanic off. It might be screwing things up now. Also going to put 3 families in here. We just need to keep the hooch coming in as fast as possible. Okay, and we need to make sure to upgrade these guys first, in case we have some issues. Alright, bunch of tier 3 houses incoming. A lot of new families coming in. It's going to mess with our food consumption, but that's okay. We're doing really well. All that matters is the money's coming in. Okay. Get 1 family over there. 1 family over there. Tier 3. There we go. We're doing it. Interestingly enough, we have the wood, but the people aren't working. So I guess that could be the advantage to having 2 families in there. Alright. Charcoal production has begun. Upgrade this well just for shits and giggles. Alright. This place is clean. We're still doing a good job. We still got lots of wood over here. They have quite a distance to go, those ox, though. That's the problem. But quite a few. Order 1 more. I'm going to upgrade a few of these stables because we are trying to conserve the boards. There we go. Look at that. We got the board production going. We're beautiful people now. Alright, we're back to 100%. Adding more families is just going to help us keep that booze coming in. Perfect. Okay, we're back on track. We're going to need probably about 20 families for the honey. What's cool about honey, every time you add a new food, so the way that the food mechanics work in this game is they consume everything equally from the granary. I have a whole guide on this. I'm just going to simplify it for you. But say the demand is 100, it's going to split it between every single food type you have. That's consumption. So remember that the consumption mechanics are not the same as the supply and demand. The supply and demand is just basically having the goods available gives you a bonus and allows you to upgrade your houses. But consumption is a completely different thing. Again, check my channel out for guides on this. I have, it's a little complicated, and I have like 10-minute guides on this. But essentially what I'm getting at is that every time we can add a food, it's going to lessen the consumption of other food items, making it easier for us to have excess of each food. So you can see I have, look how many eggs I have. Look how much meat I have, veggies, bread. Apples is at 1,000. Apples are stupid easy. And look, you know, you watch a lot of people who do this stuff, and it's like they have 40 burgage plots of apples. You don't need that many. These things are highly, highly effective when you do them correctly. So it's pretty sweet. You don't need as much of this stuff as you think. But that's why they're probably, veggies and apples are just OP. They're just super OP. Eggs are not as bad as people make them out to be. Eggs are pretty good too. Eggs are better than meat. The real reason that you do meat is to make sausage, because the spoilage on meat is really bad. We're just doing it because we can't. It's an exercise in excess right here. So it's pretty sweet. All right, we have 8 available living spaces, so we'll need to keep an eye on that. I got the smithy over here. Yeah, we're just checking everybody out right now. Looks like fuel is pretty darn bad. Let me go to the trade post real quick, because I have a feeling I may have overestimated my ability. Let's bump this up to 300. We wanted a lot of coal. Okay. All right, so we got 3 people there. What do we got up here? 1 person. All right, 3 people up here. Need to get a forester up here ASAP. Do that. And down here, let's see what's going on. We are definitely keeping up. This one forester is definitely keeping up with what's being cut. This forester down here, however, is a jerk. Let's bump that up to 2 families. All right, we got the money. Money's rolling in. It seems like the 2 trade posts are doing a decent enough job. We just are trying to sell way too many things. I do think we could actually make more money with 1 trade post, but I think that this is actually doing just fine. Got more families moving goods, and we're selling way too many items. So let's see. 643 barley, 600 wheat. How much malt do we have? 36. Okay. So we have 3 malt houses. Pretty good. We're going to turn this middle one to 2 families and just leave it there. I think that's a perfectly good number. And the 1 windmill will definitely do the job. Let's just get 3 families in there just to make sure we're not missing anything. Pantry seems to be stabilizing now. That's beautiful. The taverns are keeping pretty much at 100%. It's fluctuating between 98 and 100, which is really good. Like I said, let's just make sure that we get the important edging areas up to tier 3 first in case we have any issues. Oh yeah, look at that. We're also importing clay to make tiles, so it's good to build these as soon as you can so that you can continue to produce everything in the background. Perfect. Run out of boards again. And we do have the capacity to start a different kind of craft. Well, that's interesting. Says we don't have enough food stalls there. I think we're missing just 1 food stall. Okay. We got 6 out of 6 there. Got 5 out of 6 here. Beautiful. Alright, yeah, let's just do 2 more there. We're in good shape. Got all the eggs. Got all the meat. Let's just check the pantries real quick. I'm going to check and see if you can see meat in any pantries. 1 meat. Okay, yeah, they're on that. The two families are moving the meats really effectively. We get free families. We can always add another family to the granary there for redundancy. Alright, 100% on food. Fuel and clothing. For some reason this thing hates me or something. Oof, look at that. We got tier 1s in here? Ugly. Alright, let's get the forester up. Okay. Fuel is popping back up. Says we have 10 months worth of food, which is like kind of insane. But that's alright. It's actually really crazy. Alright, level 2 on that house down there finally. Almost everything is level 2 now. We just need to keep going a little bit. Level 2s, level 2s. Alright, this is looking fantastic. Beautiful, look at that. We got almost all the... Oh, no, that's it. Yeah, that's all the corners right there. It's wonderful. Okay, we got 15 families. So let's start the craziness of the honey. We're going to start small. We're just going to put 1 family in. And we're just going to do the top deck. You only need 1 family. And remember, they're going to completely rework this when the new patch comes out. So if you're watching this in 3 to 4 months, you're going to have to watch something else that I've done to get a better handle on this. Okay. Alright. We're going to hold off on this row down here. So all of these have a person in them. So this is what I'm talking about. So you see the honeycomb transition, right? So if there's honey in here, no more honeycombs can be generated. 2 is the max anyway. So you need your granary worker to remove that honey as fast as possible so that more honeycombs are produced. Now you can only transition 2 honey a day. So a honeycomb can become a honey twice in a day. But look how fast days go, right? March 1st. March 2nd. So every one of those ticks is a maximum of 2. So the better your logistics here, the more honey you're going to produce. So you just need the family to be able to get where he's going quickly. So not having a stall and having it centralized like this produces insane quantities of honey. It also has very low spoilage. You can see we already have 13 honey. So having very low spoilage means it's going to stack better than others. A lot of these apples and breads and all this stuff, it's going to spoil in small quantities every month. Even with a large granary, you still have spoilage. But what's cool, we're going to produce an enormous amount of honey now. Alright, we got 2 more families. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go the distance here. Got 4 more places for people to move in. I'm going to just get it all up and running so we don't have to think about it. There we go. Maximum honey. Beautiful. Oof, we got all these houses to upgrade. Let's take a peek. So the corners are now officially fully upgraded. So now we get to work on the inner core. And I think something's broken because the Lord has not attacked me. I guess he's afraid of me. But this is looking sharp. They can't keep up with fuel and clothing. It does look like we actually need one more storehouse worker. And that's very perplexing to me. There must be a third good getting in the mix, but I only have the 2. Ah, I forgot about shoes. It's 3. Sorry, it's by 3. Ugh. So stupid. Yeah, my bad. I forgot we have 3 goods that we have to have per burgage plots. We have 100 burgage plots. Times 3 goods. Divided by 20. We need 15 market stalls. And I have 12, so I need 3 more market stalls. My bad. So 3 more market stalls. We did 1 up here, so doot doot. That will get us where we need to be. Very good. I'm going to pull 4 families out of this side farmhouse. We just need to get this going. I think we're in good shape now. Perfect. Always forget about them boots. Okay. We're getting all these guys to tier 3 now. Alright. And our granaries are doing pretty darn decent at hoarding everything. Let's see where we're at now. Yeah, we're getting close to that 100s again. Got 7 out of the 4 food types. That's beautiful. Looks like we just need a little bit of leather, and we're in good shape. That will be naturally produced over time from just wild animals. Yeah, look how many ox we got moving around. It's pretty crazy. Got a chain of them going. Alright. Yeah, we're running low on planks. But once we get all caught up here and everything's upgraded, then the economy is going to take off even more. And we're actually doing pretty darn well. It seems like the 2 trade post system isn't doing too bad. I probably wouldn't go any more than that, though. Now let's check the pantries over here. Make sure no eggs are... The 1 egg. Gotta remember, the spoilage in pantries is pretty substantial. You gotta be very careful. Got 1 more egg over there. Okay, let's get 3 families in the granary here. That extra family should suffice. And let's get 1 more family in the large granary here to help with honey. Just don't want to see any... Yeah, because they got the honey. They're really quick. I think 2 is actually like quite a bit of families. There's a lot of honey. But we're going to be producing honey at pretty insane levels now. It's going to start stacking up. Our food situation's really decent. Fuel is leaves a little bit to be desired. Go check that out. Let's go see what the problem is. Now every firewood is basically split into 2 coal, so it effectively doubles your fuel. We have 3 there. Let's do it. We have 850 firewood, 167. I basically only want charcoal, right? Let's do 2 families each. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. Well, we got a full food situation now. This is great. And now look, our fish are starting to accumulate higher because we have more food types being consumed. This also decreases how much meat's being consumed. It's like every food item you can add is going to make it easier and easier for you to maintain all food varieties. And now we got this gorgeous town. Got a lot. It's going to have a pretty high pop. We're at 576 right now. I know we'll hit at least 800. I'm fairly sure. Get pretty darn close to 800. Yeah, this is looking pretty sweet. I like the setup. Amazing how just not doing straight lines, but kind of like, you know, curving your lines, like taking multiple points can just make a city look a little bit more organic. Got our stone well over here. Perfect. All right, I'm going to get another well up right here, even though I know I have one right there. And let's do a well over here as well. Okay, we're in good shape. Need to keep everything going. Look at honey, 163. Make sure that there's 1 honey there. We just need to kind of like, when we see honey, watch it. See how, yeah, they're picking it up pretty quick. I don't think more families is going to increase any efficiency here. I think 2 is really good for this. So we should be getting close to 2 a day. That guy's taking a bit. That guy's taking a bit. Alright, they got it. But that took too long. We're going to put 1 more family in here. We need these things picked up so quickly. Yeah, he's a little bit of a distance. That's the problem. Not too bad of a distance, but I get rid of this apiary here. Craft a road right there. Make it a little bit faster for them to get down here. Alright. And we'll bump up the apiary right there. I just need a little bit better of a networking system for that angle. Oh, that's kind of cool. We got like a little bit of a natural road people are following over here. Alright, there we are. Put that family in, we're good to go. More tier 3 housing right here. Oh wow, we got some boards coming in. There we are. There's a lot of houses to upgrade. Maybe we won't hit 800. I thought we would, but we're getting close. Got 409 barley. 40 malt. We're selling the alcohol pretty quickly. I guess I'm going to increase one more family into the malt house. You see, I have a lot of free families. That's what I was talking about. It's like we have families that burn in these builds, so not too worried. I guess maybe we should upgrade some of these to tier 3 just for aesthetics. Down here, I'm not really sure what I want to build. Now, you could also do the third one. You could do flax and then make products from flax if you want. I don't want to. But, yeah, there's as long as you're growing a different crop, you barely lose any fertility. Okay, let's get these plots up. Alright, I think we can actually drop this down to 400. We'll see if we have any efficiencies there. Perfect. A little bit more fish in our diet, even though they're probably rotting. Ah, another bandito. Oh, fuck. They're in the city. Okay. Well, that's alright. We'll still fight them normally. There we go. Yeah, here they come. These banditos are really not a challenge. They're more of a nuisance than anything. So you just gotta shoot all of them as fast as possible. There we go. Killed almost all of them. Wow. Yeah, we're raking in the cash now. Okay. Well, that was the bandits. We almost got everything to tier 3. This is pretty impressive. Food's at 2.5 thousand. Oh, wow. Yeah, we just got our big apple haul. Honey is coming in. We're selling a bit of... We haven't started selling honey yet, actually. Let's go to the trade post. Alright, we're going to start exporting anything over 200 honey. We're going to buy a trade route. Beautiful. Alright, look at that. Yeah. Let's do anything over 400 of each of these now. And maybe let's do 300 honey. Keep a bit on hand. Not thinking anything we're going to do with eggs is going to be meaningful. Charcoal's doing great. Man, we're raking in the cash. 7,500. Grand in the bank. We're doing great. Got a tier 3 house down here. Got 12 more spaces for families to move in. Everyone's really happy, 90%. We can start increasing taxes here in a moment. What I like to do is get everyone moved in, and then you just jack up the taxes, keep them hovering around 50%, and everything's golden. 87 malt. So here's kind of a problem. We have 160 barley. Alright, yeah, we do not need that one family in the malt house. We'll pull him out. We got a lot of free families. I'm just going to start throwing them into the farmhouse just to make sure we're getting everything. And fuel is now booming. Just rocketing. 440 coal. Alright, well, we're putting 3 people in here. And we're doing a good number on this place over here. But eventually we're going to get all caught up. 25 and 49. Yeah, we're in good shape. We're in good shape. We're on the last tier over here of tier 3s. I think I'm going to start putting multiple families into the forester huts because I got to do something with these people. And it doesn't feel like we're keeping up speed right now. Here we go. Let's get the foresters going over here. Families there. Looking perfect. Families. Oh yeah, 621. Yeah, we're gonna hit 7 at least. 700's a good number, right? Look how much items we have for sale. It's crazy. Alright, let's upgrade these last plots up here. So we just need a little bit more boards to finish off this last wave, and we got everything to tier 3. I'm gonna leave these gents down here, the cobbler and blacksmith at tier 2. And the joiner and all that, they don't all need to be tier 3. I actually need to set a radius down here, because he's getting close to the animals over there. Well, yeah, look at that. We didn't even have enough families to fish at all. Crazy. There we go. We're doing it. Over 2,000 food now. Alright, let's do one last hurrah, right? We just need a bunch of wood right now, so let's just get everyone over here cutting. Look how many hawks we got moving. It's freaking crazy. I like watching the networking systems. Alright, last line over here. Oh, so close. 36 more boards and we're there. One. Okay, we're getting real close. It is a lot of flour. Are these ovens at full capacity? Let's boot them all up to full capacity. Also make sure they have fuel stockpiles inside of them. There we go. That's beautiful right there. Okay, we got our planks. The last 2 houses. Boom, boom. Okay. I'm gonna leave all the workers that we have down there making boards, but we can definitely pull back substantially over here. Gonna pull back to 1 in each. Gonna pull back to 1 over here. And we'll pull 1 over here. That should all balance out now. Perfect. See the circles that we've cut out. That's great, though. Oh, dang, dude. We cannot keep up. Alright. Let's put 2 more families over here. Got 9 free families, and we got 16 more moving in. So there we are. We did it. We got all the houses up to tier 3. Producing far more bread than I need, but we will sell most of it. We're selling an insane amount of honey now, I think, too. We're at 8,000. Let's take a peek. Let's see what we're selling, right? So let's look at the previous year, or the current year. Look, the current year we made 2245, imported, looks like a little bit of iron. That's not bad. A lot of money made from booze, bread, little bit from honey, good chunk from bows and coal. You can see that the importing of clay for the clay tiles was pretty substantial, but it's interesting to see that apples is almost on par with the bows. That's actually kind of interesting. Let's look at the previous year. So 1,000 in bread, 1,000 in apples, almost 985 in bows. It's actually really interesting. Barely in veggies, a little bit in coal, and a lot of my money is coming from selling alcohol. A lot of my money. That is insane. All time, we can see that alcohol has been the primary market driver. Now, we started selling bows before a lot of other things. This is a bit skewed. Bread's doing pretty decent. Coal, we just started. Like, we literally just started selling coal. So, coal typically tends to be one of the better items to trade. We got a lot of free families. I'm not sure what to do with all this. I'm just going to throw 1 more family in the granary here just because I can. Okay. Let's put 3 families over in this one. Already got 3 over here. These guys are maxed out. This guy's maxed out. 2 down here is maxed out. We're still not able to keep up with the fish. This is pretty awesome. 89%. All right, taxes need to be around 10% now. Look at that, 93 planks, 25 timber. We're gonna start selling more bows now too, because we have more planks. And it does look like we need 1 more granary market stall. That's fine. All right, we're gonna put another granary over here, just because we can, not because we need to. But we do need a few more market stalls. Okay, and that's what's kind of cool about a design like that, is you have the capacity to do more if you want. Now, for this granary, I think it's going to just be market stall granary, and I'm just going to let pretty much anything go in here except for probably alcohol. I don't really care what they do. I'm just going to mass market stalls. It's actually kind of nice to have someone that just kind of moves things around, right? Okay, finally, the Lord is attacking me. My God. It took him forever to get the balls. So we are going to sally forth here. We're also going to hire a mercenary, because we can. Get them out here. Alright, granary is up. And put 3 workers in there. Go to advance. Actually, when we upgrade this, I think it's going to undo a lot of this. We're going to say all foods. Just every single food in the game can be stored here. And upgrade that to a large. And then let's fight this battle. Where's the battle taking place? Ugh, we gotta go forward. I hate when they do this. When they put the battle location in an area that is not the place that's being attacked. Ridiculous. But we will do it. Alright, here he comes. He's coming from my territory, which is super annoying. We need to hit this battlefield so that it procs the actual combat. Alright, and this is where we're going to meet them. Alright, the battle is beginning. Which means they are very close. They're probably in the bushes. Here they come. Alright. Got my mercenary units in place. And there they are coming over that hill on the horizon. Oh, they're about to witness pain. I always love it when the retinue get the brunt of the damage because they are the toughest unit. Clouds are coming with them. Alright, broke their retinue. They're going to try to get me. I'm going to use the mercenaries as a shield. There we go. Very easy, but very easy. He stood no chance against 4 crossbowmen. Alright, let's get everyone out. Let's get rid of the mercenaries. There we are. We did it. Got 15 people who need to move in. That's a lot of free families. But that's where we're going to end this because at this point we've done it. We did it all. Look how much food we have. Same amount of food. Same amount of fuel, firewood. Our economy is through the roof. We could tax ours way more than we want to. But yeah, this is a cool build. I thought about doing this before. Just having centralized, granaries in these areas and just centralizing granaries. What's really cool about the system of the new market stall mechanics is you can do some really, really awesome builds now. So you can definitely hyper-focus your industries in certain areas, which is something that you couldn't do before. And I'm confident as they keep expanding the game, we're going to have more and more features which make this even easier and easier to do. Thank you guys for watching. Special shout out to all my patrons and members. Everyone else, have a good rest of your day.